buildings, all this light and heat. Time to take a stand, boys, time to make a choice. Time to find our courage, time to be deployed. Make our only stand here, make our roads complete. All we waited for now, past and future meet. Get your weapons ready, kiss loved ones goodbye. Now our time is coming, and it is not the time to cry. Settle wrong from right. In the time of conflict, when the bullets fly, in the space of seconds, a life you cannot buy. Face the facts before you, face the simple truth. We're hopelessly outnumbered, it's tragic but it's true. Make your last formation, take the final road. Now it's time for endings, now it's time to go. Saturday, because that's what I like to do, because that's what it's all about. I didn't really mean that quite that way, but you know what I'm saying. What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Argonauts, to a Saturday night stream. It is August 13th, about 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope everybody is doing well, and yeah, welcome. I hope everyone is enjoying themselves on this Saturday, and you guys had a nice, cool one. I actually was down in the city for a little while today because I was reviewing a theater show as part of the Fringe Festival. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a huge theater production. It's like independent theater. And it is the biggest one in the world. And I've been covering the Fringe Festival for Curtain Up, the theater website I write for many years. And the deal about the Fringe Festival is they've had shows that move over from sort of this production to off-Broadway and sometimes even Broadway. But there's a big range. So sometimes the shows are good and sometimes they're not so good. This one today was okay. But the theater, at least initially, was not air-conditioned. So I want to tell you, man, if you go to see a show on the Lower East Side on August 13th and it is 100 degrees outside and it was literally 100 degrees Fahrenheit, it was freaking hot. So I have to admit that as I was watching it, I felt really bad for the actors because there wasn't like a lot of strong lighting on the stage, but any kind of lighting, man, in that sort of weather, I was just like, I don't even know what to say. So it was hot is my point. If you guys are anywhere on the Eastern Seaboard, it is freaking boiling right now. But we will, that's the summer for you. So we will survive eventually. So that's what I was doing today. And so that plus some other work that I had to do as well. And now I am back and we are going to finally wrap up Bloodfeud of Altheus. This has taken a lot longer than I thought it would. I thought I was going to wrap this in a couple sessions. It's going to end up taking 4 sessions when all said and done, but it's been a lot of fun, so that's fine. If we finish relatively early tonight, then we'll move into Dark Souls. If not, then we'll just wrap this up, and I'll talk about the calendar in just a minute. Before I do that, though, a couple of reminders about how to support the stream. First of all, CTT, !CTT to tweet out the stream. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Now that I think of it, you can't do that because the bot is not working. So I'm simply going to have to let you know about, you will see popping up on the top left-hand corner of your screen some animated information, and that will give you the information you need as to where you need to go to tweet out the stream. And please do that. Please retweet. If you follow me on Twitter, please retweet my stuff. Please tweet out the stream. Let's let other people know about this as well. If you have a chance to check out my Steam group, you can go to Steam group, which I think is / the Arvanauts, if I'm not mistaken. You can also check out, of course, the YouTube channel, which is just YouTube Arvanelleron. That's the group right there, Steam group / the Arvanauts. You can check out my YouTube channel for past broadcasts of this stream and the ones that I do over at GOG. And last but certainly not least, of course, you can check out my Patreon, and you'll be able to see that pop up in just a minute. We're sitting at 376, and I would really love to get that north of 400 again, get us moving back in the right direction. I understand August is the dog days financially as well as in actual weather, but if you guys are able to help out and support the stream, that would be a big help for the channel going forward, because we've got a lot of exciting things happening as we move ahead. Now, speaking of that, thank you, Shatter, very much. I appreciate that, man. So speaking of that, I want to mention I did manage to get the schedule up. I have not yet gotten the Patreon newsletter up, but I will be getting it up shortly out to people. It is on my list of things to do. But I do have the schedule ready, and it looks like this. So we're wrapping up Bloodfeud of Altheus tonight, and as I said, Dark Souls if we have time for it. I also want to mention at the end of the night tonight, we are going to be doing nominations for the chat chosen game of the month. This is a little bit more compressed. Usually I like to do this on, let's say, Thursday, and then have the vote happen on the following Tuesday or something like that, but because of all the travel I'm doing and a bunch of stuff, it's a little more compressed this month. So nominations for the chat chosen game of the month will happen tonight. Now, the one thing I want to mention that's going to be really important about this, guys, is that I need this chat chosen game to be a game which is easily playable on the road, because I'm going to be streaming it in all likelihood from my hotel room in Kansas City, Missouri during one of my streams when I'm on the road. I'm going to Worldcon and I'm leaving on Wednesday, so I'll be there for both the Thursday and Saturday streams. I'll definitely do the Thursday night stream. Saturday night stream is a little more up in the air. I'll probably do it, but not 100% sure. So I need you guys to think about a game which is playable on the road. In other words, nothing that involves some massively complicated setup or anything that involves like my virtual console and stuff like that. I can't do that. So think about some game that would work on the road. Shovel Knight that I did last month was actually perfect for on the road stuff, but something along the lines that I can actually play portably. Arvbox is awesome, but just keep in mind that it's my portable rig and not my sort of home rig. So that vote nominations are going to happen tonight, and then the official vote will happen on Tuesday. Tuesday I'll be over at GOG playing Pen and Pixels, playing Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear as I come close to wrapping that up. And then in the evening, it'll be Dark Souls plus the vote for the chat chosen game of the month. Then the aforementioned chat chosen game of the month will happen Thursday the 18th. So Thursday the 18th, as I said, from the road, I'll be streaming that. Saturday the 20th is a little bit up in the air. Again, I'll be on the road for that one. I might try playing Dark Souls on the road. I'm not 100% sure if I can do that. If I don't, I'll have to think of some alternative. And so I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do about that. We'll see. And then I'll be back after that on Tuesday the 23rd, and we'll be back into normal scheduling. Pen and Pixels the 23rd. That looks like it will be Dungeons and Dragons with the GOG stream. And then that evening is going to be at 7:30. So Tuesday the 23rd, mark your calendars. That will be D&D with viewers. Final Fantasy VI, yeah. Already done it, Isterma. Already did it, man. Thank you very much, Shatter, for posting those things. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, sir. Oh yeah, Shadowed, what's up, man? The bot is down. Arcanus bot is not there. How you doing, man? Oh, a proper playthrough. I did do a proper play. I like Final Fantasy VI a lot, but I was happy with my playthrough. But yeah, so Tuesday the 23rd is D&D with viewers. Now, you guys know the drill on this. If you have not done this before, I like to, first of all, give the support to, number one, people who have not played D&D with me before. Number two, people who have a microphone. You've got to have a mic, minimum. I would prefer if you have a webcam, and I would prefer if you have not played with me before. The only requirements are that you really need to have played D&D a little bit. You don't need to have like extensive knowledge, but just a little bit of experience with D&D before, and you need to have a microphone. Then the preferences are if you have not played with me before, and if you've got a webcam. Also, obviously, you need to be able to commit to the full session. So if you can just do like an hour, that's not going to get it done. We need to make sure that you're there for the whole time. We're going to continue with our Harried and Hillsfar campaign, which has been kind of like a chat cooperative. We did the first 2 sessions of that over the last couple of months where we were doing the D&D with viewers, and we're going to continue that with part 3. And so if you have played with me before, that doesn't mean that you absolutely will not be able to this time. It just means that I want to make sure that people who haven't gotten a chance get a chance if that's possible. So that is what's happening. So that, again, is Tuesday the 23rd, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. D&D with viewers will be happening then sometime between 7:30 and 8, in fairness, for D&D with viewers. So that's Tuesday the 23rd. Thursday the 25th will be our vocalists will be back in town. We will be doing either Aviary Attorney or possibly there's another possible game on the horizon that I cannot yet talk about, except to say that you guys will like it. I promise it is a game that is right up this channel's alley, and it would be a game that would be awesome for them to do, but I don't yet know if I will be able to do that game this early. So possibly the 25th will be another game. If not, we will continue with Aviary Attorney, which is obviously awesome. So that's the R Vocalists. Then D&D continues with Saturday. Saturday the 27th will be D&D with the Infinity and Beyond crew, as we are moving into the home stretch now of the Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign. I did recently pick up the next 2 parts of the campaign, Rise of Tiamat. I just picked up for them. And then on the 30th, it will be Pen and Pixels, more D&D, Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear, excuse me. And then that evening, the 30th, 7:30, will be more D&D with the Infinity and Beyond crew. So we got some Dark Souls coming up in the near future. Then we've got that Patreon, the Chat Chosen Game of the Month. Then we've got a lot of D&D and some Our Vocalist stuff thrown in there as well. And that's going to be fun. Yay! That's awesome, Shatter. Oh, listen, maybe Shatter Mage is going... Guys, if you've always said to yourself, what would it be like to see Shatter Mage in a D&D session, you may get that chance. You may have the chance to do it. You may actually see the legendary Shatter Mage maybe entering the D&D field of play. A new challenger approaches, possibly. We'll see. Anyway, that's the calendar. I'm looking forward to a fun schedule, and then we're moving into September, and boy, do we have a lot of stuff. Now, 2 last announcements that I want to make, and before I do that, I will get rid of this, and I will get rid of, where are we? This, and I will turn on this. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is 2 things. First of all, I didn't show you guys what I got when I was at Gen Con. I mentioned that I got a couple of games with my daughter, but this is what I picked up for the D&D people. So, check it out. Okay, for the regular Infinity and Beyond crew, once they get, if they get through Horde of the Dragon Queen, they will next go up against this. Oh yeah, the Rise of Tiamat. I have to tell you guys, this, the freaking quality, the production quality of WotC stuff is really top notch. Like it's really, really legitimate. This is awesome. I've had a chance to read through some of it already. It's you want political intrigue, you want some stuff going on in Waterdeep. You got it. So that's sweet. So Rise of Tiamat. That's if they get through Horde of the Dragon Queen. Now the second one, which is for the GOG team. What's up, Dragonspear? For the GOG team, I'm going to be putting them through this. And this one is a long-term situation. I'm doing this because the Infinity and Beyond crew, Sod is already dungeon mastering this adventure for another group that I'm about to show you. So I can't bring him and those groups through. The group, what I would do after Rise of Tiamat might be, either the Rage of Demons campaign, which is possible, or I might do the Curse of Strahd and do a little Ravenloft action. We'll see, but that's way down the road. But what I'm doing for the GOG team is, oh, awesome, thanks, Shadowed, is this. Princes of the Apocalypse. Now, if you guys ever played or know anything about Temple of Elemental Evil, Temple of Elemental Evil is basically what we're talking about here, except it's significantly extended. This thing is epic. This thing is epic in terms of its scope, I mean. It's just got freaking so much stuff. Like, there's side quests, there's I mean, the connective tissue is a little weak. I'm going to have to do a little work to bring it all together. But oh my God, is there so much going on in this. So the thing is, unless I can convince the GOG team to step up the playtime, like maybe to go 2 sessions a month instead of 1, it's going to take us a long time to get through this, like a few years to get through this campaign. But oh my God, this is going to be fun. So I'm really looking forward to that stuff. And I was going to mention something else about the oh, just a quick thing about Epic. Today my daughter is playing one of the games that we got at Gen Con, and I was playing it with her, and she's like, so Daddy, she's like, when I was at Gen Con, I did this one thing, and it was this really epic move, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, did you just say that you did an epic move? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you're the greatest daughter. I just want to say, just to be clear, you are the greatest kid that's ever lived. I just want to be clear about that. And she's like, what? I'm like, you used epic in a sentence. It was pretty awesome. I was like, epic, yes. So the other announcement that I wanted to make, which is not related to this, but I wanted to mention that speaking of D&D, don't forget that October 1st, which is the day after the September 30th book release, I am going to be playing D&D with Ed Greenwood and a series of authors. And there's a few people. Yeah, she said epic move. Yeah, she did. And there's a few authors that I know already who are going to be confirmed. I can confirm that in addition to myself, Brad Bollier, who is my speculative fiction, who is for a long time co-host on my Speculate podcast, he has a series with Daw. Actually, he has a series with Nightshade Books and another series with Daw, and he's a full-time writer, and Brad is a good dude. So he is going to be playing D&D with us. He's also a long-time gamer. Another person who's going to be playing with us is Mike Underwood, better known on Twitch as Capoeirist Mike. So you guys may remember Capoeirist Mike. Mike Underwood is going to be playing with us as well. And then I am recruiting, in the midst of recruiting a few other people. I have about 4 or 5 different possibilities that are going to be playing with us in this D&D campaign or this D&D session with Ed Greenwood as DM. That's going to be October 1st. That will be the official release event for my novel Greyshade, which is the first of a trilogy coming out from the Ed Greenwood group. And I just got the cover, just the front cover picture for Greyshade, and I was like, I was extremely pleased. The front cover for Greyshade looks badass, so I'm very excited about it. I cannot share it with you. I can't talk about it other than to say that I've seen it, and I can tell you the title, like, so you guys already know that. So my book Greyshade, first in a trilogy, coming out September 30th, and the cover looks badass, so I cannot wait to be able to share that cover with you. That's obviously a big deal for me. Just like the Icarus thing was a big deal, and you guys have been awesome in promoting that, this is also a big deal. Greyshade is a big deal. And there's stuff that I want to talk about that I can't talk about yet, but it involves special editions and things. It's just cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. That's going to be really, really awesome. And so, yeah. Yeah, I saw that about Kenny Baker. I saw Mark Hamill actually tweeted about it, and that's too bad. He lived, seems like a really productive, great life, though, like the life that he wanted to live, really. And so, but that was sad. We lost Akbar and we lost R2D2, so sadly. Okay. Now, let me say hi to everybody, and then we'll talk about what we're doing tonight. So let me say hi, first of all, to my awesome viewers. Good turnout tonight to get started. Hello to Wolfboy, to TNS Mephiston, to Sly Tie, Sir Bruceable, Sir Tifu, Radcount, PKD Fan, what's up, Nonstop? Hello, Mr. Body Massage. What's up, Light and Passion? Hello, Karth. What's up, Jedi Knight? Hello, J-Rab. What's up, Istermus? What's going on, Hillness? Hello, Garrett. What's up, Electrical Skateboard? That's a good name. What's going on, Ekeg? Hello, Divinorium. What's up, Commander Dunsel? Hello, Balanced Hydra. What's going on, Arcades? Hello, Apples. And, of course, hello to my awesome mods, the best mods in the business, Thorg, Shattermage, Kilobyte, and Dragon Spear, and Arcanist Bot is now up and functional. So that's going to be cool. So I'm very excited to have you guys with me. It's going to be awesome. So today, guys, we are going to continue our work with Bloodfeud of Altheus. We managed to get through. This has definitely been difficult. This has not been an easy game book to get through because of the sort of design of it, but I've really enjoyed it. I think it's actually some of the better writing that we've seen in one of these game books, and it's been cool to just have something different as opposed to just the straight up fantasy or sci-fi stuff. It's cool to have something set back in ancient Greece. So it is time for us to head over and take a look and see where our character stands. So let's do it. We are here, and we are here with our character of Altheus, who currently has a sword. He has a small shield. He's got a breastplate. He's also got a backup spear and an axe. He's got his mother's gem, and then he's got a jeweled brooch. You just defeated an Amazon invasion, or an Amazon attack in the city of Athens, and the Amazon woman told you that, the leader of the Amazons told you to find Lembra in Crete, which is where you're going, and show her this jeweled brooch. And if you can do that, that will really help. You have died twice, technically 3 times, but the first time you were saved by Zeus. So you've died twice. Your patron goddess, our patron goddess is Athena, which means that when we take a hint from one of the sections we're in, we do not lose honor when we check out. Even if it says to lose honor, we don't if we're checking out a hint. We are currently in disfavor with Asclepius and in disfavor with Hecate. And in fact, Hecate tried to kill us in a dream, and we were lucky that we were able to hold her off, but that was scary. We are in favor with Hera, so that's cool. That's going out well. We need to beware Epidaurus. We need to kill the Minotaur when we arrive in Crete. And as I said down below, we have to speak to Lembra the Amazon. We have a current protection score of 15. We have a current might of 7. Honor and shame are tied at 5. Now, that's a dangerous situation because if the shame ever goes up above the honor, then we basically immediately commit suicide or are struck by a lightning bolt from Zeus or something like that. So the only time that can change is if we're in the middle of a fight. That sort of the consequences don't take place until after the fight is concluded, so we do have a chance to kind of get out of it, but we definitely want to pull that honor number up as soon as we possibly can. I did do the Captain Kirk log voice for the entire No Man's Sky cast. Yes, I did that this morning. Actually, I got up and did the cast from 8 to 10 in the morning on GOG, and I'm glad I did. The only problem with the game is that OBS does not like playing with that game. It chugs my system a lot. I had to make lots of tweaks even to make it vaguely playable, and I felt bad because it was like there were parts which were just slideshow. When I'm just playing it on my system, it looks awesome. But it's so a lot of that is optimization. I did update my graphics drivers today, and I made some other changes and tweaks and adjustments, and hopefully that will help if I want to stream it again. I have to say that I really enjoyed it because I was able to do the role play basically the whole time, and I felt good because people said that they really enjoyed it even though there were technical issues. They loved doing the role play stuff, so that was awesome. The cast wasn't in the schedule, Dragon, because I wasn't 100% sure I was going to be able to do it. It kind of depended on whether, first of all, Outstar Walker would be able to get me a code, and she did, which is awesome. And then I wasn't 100% sure. It just wasn't in the schedule because I didn't know about the timing of everything until relatively late. So yeah. But and No Man's Sky, yeah, the problem is just the PC port has to be optimized. But I do have to say, and I'm just going to say this quickly, and then we'll get into the game. I do have to say that having played No Man's Sky, I like it a fair bit. It's got a lot of that Metroid Prime feel for me. I love the idea of sort of wandering around a lonely universe and tracking down things. It is kind of chill and relaxed in a lot of ways. And I have to say that I don't want to call this person out too strongly, but there were a couple of very prominent streamers, and one in particular that I'm thinking of, that basically hammered the hell out of the game and then rage quit when a bunch of people were watching it, and then later on released a video during which almost all of the issues that he had brought up initially had been resolved because he ended up figuring out that he was supposed to do different things than what he had originally been doing. Kind of irresponsible, I got to be honest with you. Don't do a live stream where you have a small independent game studio with a game where everyone's watching you, rage quit, and then be like, oh, the reason I rage quit is because I'm technically an idiot and I don't know how to actually set up a game to work properly. None of that is to excuse the issues that No Man's Sky has, although I will point out that the number of games that have released that don't have issues are essentially nil. But in general, I feel like No Man's Sky went through this weird experience where it got way, way overhyped, and then it became kind of like the cool hipster thing to hate on it and be like, this game's awful. Why I hate it. It's terrible because everyone else likes it. And all of a sudden it's like why Death Cab for Cutie started to suck after anyone bought their albums. You know what I mean? Like from a hipster point of view, they sucked because everyone else likes them too. I'm not down with that. So I'm not saying that No Man's Sky is the greatest game. I don't know that I would stream it on this channel. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know, but it's the kind of game that I think I could play just to sort of chill out and relax. And I think it's pretty solid. I think it's got a lot of potential even to go further. And I'm a little bit like, come on, man. Like let's just take it easy. I don't want to get into, It not really though, Thorg, honestly. I mean, it does have procedural generation, which I don't usually care for. I don't like randomization like that most of the time, but I like the feel of the universe, and I like the feel of this sort of broad-based world where you're sort of searching and finding ancient artifacts, alien artifacts, and stuff like that. Again, it's not my favorite in the world. I don't like it better than RPGs. I don't like it. I'm not saying any of that. Like, I'm not saying that it's a game it's not my game of the year or anything like that. I just think I think it's decent. I think it's solid. And I think for people to be like, nope, I hate it. I don't know. I mean, it's fine if it's not your cup of tea, but it's just bizarre. No. This other prominent streamer that I don't want to get into, but this prominent streamer rage quit playing No Man's Sky and then released a video later where he basically had fixed all the problems. And it was like, right, if you had actually stopped and fixed those problems to begin with before you did the live stream, then you wouldn't have to rage quit and cause a bunch of people to cancel pre-orders. Again, I'm just saying I was a little... Come on, man. Like, let's just do that. So that giant rabbity thing. Yeah. So again, not saying it's my favorite game on earth or anything like that, but I liked it better than I think some people did. And I feel like if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But I think there's some people who've kind of taken it a step forward and be like, I'm officially going to hate it because it's a hyped game. And so because it's hyped, it automatically must suck. Like, I saw some people doing this a little bit with Shadow of Mordor, and I'm like, no, that game's really good, actually. So just yelling at it because everybody else likes it, I don't know, hipster to me. Yes, that's probably true, Div. Yeah. Okay, with that said, though, but I kind of like No Man's Sky, I have to say. So I will say that I got it because I was doing it as part of the Gagathon. The code was sent to me, so I did not have to pay for it, which is obviously a big thing. Would I drop $60 on it? Probably not, although I can see the potential for playing that game quite a bit on and off. But I don't know that I would have dropped that all at once. But for a game as a game, I think it's decent. And it probably was overhyped, Hilness, but I don't think that's their fault. I think it got overhyped because the community got hold of something. And quite honestly, I have a theory about this. I think part of the reason that people overhyped it to such an extent as they did, we got up to 386. Guys, we just got a Patreon boost. Who did that? Whoever did that, you guys are awesome. If you wish to reveal who you are, that would be really sweet. If you could reveal who you are, that would be lovely, and we can give you the credit you deserve. Thank you so much, whoever that was that upped the Patreon just now. That's awesome. Thank you. You don't have to say, but if you want to say, that would be super awesome. Thank you. But anyway, so the hype what I think happened is, that was you. Thank you, Balanced Hydra. Balanced Hydra, thank you so much. Remember, Balanced Hydra, that means that you're going to get, I believe I have it set up that you're going to get either an epic poem or you'll get a character background written. So make sure that you send me the detail about that. Just make sure you double check on that, and I'll send you a message about that when I know. Thank you, Balanced Hydra. Can we get some love for Balanced Hydra? Can we get some love? Yeah, Hell Hydra, exactly. Can we get some love? Thank you so much. Some Foo Muffins, that's good. Yes, can we get some So Goods? Can we get some So Goods, some Arv Dragons, some Arv Quills in chat? Thank you so much, Balanced. I really appreciate it, man. So thank you, Shatter. So what was I saying? My theory is, I think that part of the reason that people were so hyping up No Man's Sky is because I think a lot of those people are frustrated Star Citizen players. They are people who desperately want Star Citizen to come out, and they're like, at least it's something, and Elite Dangerous didn't really get it done. Destiny didn't really get it done. They're not bad games, but they're not really in that area. So people are like frustrated. And I think there's some of those people are Star Citizen people who way overhyped it. And what TNS said is exactly right. Really what happened to the No Man's Sky hype train is Sony. Sony just lost their mind and they were like, advertise. So they went way over the top. So I'm with you on that completely, TNS. I do think that Hello Games could have gotten out front a little more than they did and could have tamped this down a little more than they did. I think that what's his name, Sean Murray. I think he realized about a month ago, oh crap, people are really overstating what this game is, and so he tried to start tamping it down then. It's a little late, though, to do it when it's about a month before release. And I don't think he was doing that because he was trying to hype numbers. I think he was doing it because he didn't realize how much the level actually went there. So, yeah, I mean, listen, Nonstop, I want Star Citizen to succeed. I really do. I think what they're doing is amazing. I loved Wing Commander. I talk to a lot of people that I respect that think that what they're doing is great stuff. My problem with Star Citizen is that that game is absolute feature creep central. That game is the ultimate example of just let's keep throwing money at you and adding features, and then you never actually release the game. I think Star Citizen should have cut off funding for the game, or at least put it into a separate category, and had that game out a year ago. And I don't know that a game that just keeps increasing in scope and increasing in scope and increasing in scope, where people are spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on ships they can't even really use yet. I don't know. So I really want Star Citizen to work. I would love epic space games because although I'm more of a fantasy guy, I love science fiction that's like space opera. I love Star Wars. I like the Star Trek is not space opera, but I like massive scope types of things. I love the Mass Effect series. So I'd love to see Star Citizen do well. But I don't know, man. I would love to see. They got to get it out is the point, and I don't know. You know, it's difficult. Feature creep is an issue, and the hype is an issue. I don't see how, even if that game is amazing, how does it live up to the hype? Like Star Citizen has been, and I've seen videos that technically are amazing. Again, I'm not understating what they're trying to do. But what they're trying to do, they need to release a game at some point, and then they can iterate adjustments after that, instead of just, you know, crazy. So we'll see. Anyway, I think some of those Star Citizen people went over to No Man's Sky, and they were like, maybe this is my game. So, you know, I feel bad for them because epic space games with like role-playing emphasis of any kind is pretty cool stuff. All right, with that said, feature creep, Aaron, is when they keep adding things. Like there was a game they promised that would have X, Y, and Z, and then they get a ton more money, and then they're like, oh, well, we'll also give you A and B and C and D, and also E and F and G, and after a while, they're promising you a game that's so bloated and so above your original vision that you don't really have the team for it, and you don't really have the sort of narrative thing to hold it all together. You know, if you have a tight space simulator and then by the time you get to the end of it, it's become like, you know, a game with like Galactic Council political maneuvering, and it's like 4X strategy plus Wing Commander plus like Mass Effect. All of a sudden you can't hold all of that stuff together. So it's basically adding features beyond the original scope such that they never do the original scope. And that's kind of an issue. So yeah, it's weird though, Thorg. It's weird. Like I don't know that it's shallow as a puddle exactly. Parts of it seem like that, but other parts don't. I don't know. I haven't wrapped my head around it. I feel like this is what I think, and then I do want to get onto the game. I really feel like No Man's Sky is a game that, in my opinion, is going to have a big impact a decade from now, regardless of how successful the game is or isn't as a game. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel, remember, they built their own engine for this. They didn't use anyone else's engine. They built their own proprietary engine for No Man's Sky. I feel like that, what they did with this game, the sort of inspiration for the game, is going to be an enormous thing for them. And I feel like that's going to have a profound effect on development going forward, even if that particular game doesn't end up working as a game. And it might, but it's going to have a big influence, it seems to me, in my opinion. So we will see if I'm right, but I think it's going to have an influential sort of effect on things later on. Anyway, with that said, time for us to move on to things. The English, what's up top? The English version of Enderall. I don't know that I know what Enderall is. What is Enderall? I don't know. Anyway, time has come, people. Bloodfeud of Altheus. So we need to get moving on. Now, you have just, as I said, defeated the Amazons, and we have just managed to get onto the ship. And you know what? So you know what's funny, Div? Is that I like the idea that the biggest thing about, oh, it's a total conversion mod for Skyrim. Oh, nice, man. Exactly, Div, exactly. The biggest thing about Non-Man's Sky is it brings us closer to a 3D Dwarf Fortress. It's so funny, Div, that you would imagine No Man's Sky and be like, how does this help? How does it help Dwarf Fortress? I know how much you love Dwarf Fortress. It just cracks me up because you're like, okay, listen, how does the current state of the political climate in America bring us closer to Dwarf Fortress 3D? I just find that really funny. Oh man, it's very funny. I appreciate your commitment to the game. Okay, so let's get us some music here, and I want to find I was disappointed in our music choices the last time because it just Age of Empires just didn't get the job done. So let's see. So we've done Rise of Rome, we've done Age of Mythology, we've done Age of Empires. Does anyone else have another suggestion? I guess we've done God of War. Does anyone have another suggestion for a soundtrack we could play? Oh, really? Yeah. Spore. See, Spore. Now that's another example. Spore was, I still have it. I have Spore. A friend of mine got it for me because it looked like it was going to be awesome. And then it turned out that they were trying to crush 4 different kinds of games together and they didn't do any of them well. So it was a big disappointment. But I would still argue that Spore had an impact on things that people didn't realize. Titan Quest. Is this the Harry Potter? No, I am not playing the X-Files hyper theme, damn it, Law. Law, I love you, man, but no, absolutely not. I'm not doing Dark Souls. Total War soundtrack's not bad. There you go, TNS. There you go. Yeah, well, I got it for my birthday years ago, actually. Titan Quest. That's a good call, Jedi. Let me try that. And Caesar's not bad either. I might try that also. Awesome. Perfect. I love it. Great stuff. Deus Ex 1. I think this works out better, actually. I think it's not a bad suggestion, but I think this works out pretty well. So, music, guys. Up, down. Really glad to see everyone tonight. Good turnout for the start of things. It's awesome. So, up, down, yes, no. Is this good? We feeling good about things? Music-wise? Maybe? Possibly? So bad? Really? What is with you in hyper distorted music recently? Law's suggestion on Thursday was I play some hyper distorted Harry Potter theme. I feel like someone like beat you over the head with a Daft Punk album, and like all of a sudden you haven't been able to think properly. You just pledged what? Whoa. Hillness. Really? Oh. Holy crap. Dude, really? Oh my god. Dude, that is amazing. Wow. Wow. Hillness, dude. That's amazing. Wow. I refreshed. That is amazing. Wow, dude. Thank you. Hillness, man. I'm going to owe you some stuff is what that means. I'm going to owe you an epic poem, and I'm going to owe you a character background. I'll send you the information on that once I get it after in the next couple days. Thank you, man. You sure, Hillness? You sure? I appreciate it, but that's awesome, dude. Thank you very, very much. And I've met Hillness face to face. See, I knew he was a good guy. Thank you, man. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Much appreciated. And that's awesome, guys. Wow, we are. This is a great Saturday already. We're like way over for it. We got some new patron. We got a new patron on board. We got a couple new patrons on board. People upping pledges. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. No, dude, Hydra. What I've said many times to people is it's never a requirement, first of all, but it is much appreciated. And any support you're able to give is always appreciated and makes a difference. If we can get up to the 450 level this month, I'm going to be doing Arvanaut Idol 2. I'm going to be doing another short story contest on here. So it all helps add to things, and it's really appreciated. So, yeah, I appreciate that. No, I get it, Chatter. That's okay, dude. Thank you so much, Illness. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I want to, by the way, one last thing I wanted to mention also, guys. If anyone is interested in taking a stab at a couple more emotes, I have more emotes possible, like better TTV emotes. So I'm especially interested in an ARV hype emote. I'm interested in one of those. I'm interested maybe in an ARV rage emote. And then especially an ARV what emote. An ARV like, oh, emote. So an ARV hype and an ARV what emote would be awesome. Also, I would not mind a so meh emote. We've got a so good and so bad, but if we had so meh, that would also be cool. So I'm just letting you know, if you guys want to throw some more of those emotes my way and you're interested, I would, to couple what Thorg and others have included, that would be awesome. What is this? That's the Swagosaurus Rex. Nice. Well, you know, ARV Rage is probably a little bit strong. I don't usually rage. I really don't. In fact, I don't even like raging, to be honest with you. Thank you for the follow, non-binary rogue. You guys have been coming up with some badass names. Can I just say that? There have been some really good names lately. Non-binary rogue? That's awesome. So if you're a non-binary rogue, it means your name really is 2_rogue, right? You definitely don't have zeros or ones in your name if you're a rogue. I love it. That is ridiculous. That is not a thing. That monster is not a thing. That does not exist. That does not exist. Oh my god, Law. Just textual vomit is what that is. Thanks for the host chatter. Alright guys, well thank you so much to Balanced Hydra. Thank you so much to Hillness. Hopefully other people can jump on board as well. Thank you guys so much. Much love. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, let's get into the game. Let's do it. So, you guys have just left Athens, and you were on the boat, and here we go. At long last, you reach the Piraeus, the well-built harbor of Athens. A host of people are assembled there, busily loading and unloading goods from the islands. Your ship is obvious, a great but weather-beaten pine vessel with sails of deep black, draped in cloths of black, its crew dressed in somber robes. A small man in a white-trimmed cloak beckons to you. That's a good call, Jay. I should totally do that. He is the captain, and they have delayed sailing for you. They must leave within minutes, or the tide will prevent them for another 12 hours. You rush aboard and are shown below decks to a large room where the crew sleep and keep their possessions. What's up, Carlito? Here you stow your weapons and go to join the captain. Alright. Now here's where things get a little hairy, guys. The ship has already cast off, and the rowers are at their benches, heaving hard at the smooth wooden oars. The overseer has no whip, for all are volunteers, but a regular beat is struck on stretched-hide drums. The Athenians destined for sacrifice speak little, keeping to themselves, but every so often cast you hopeful glances, as men appealing to high Olympus for succor. Altheus, breaker of horses, will save us, they say, or Altheus will storm the great walled citadel of Knossos, and bring us back to Athens. One girl looks remarkably like your mother Aethra, and puts you in mind for a moment of the home you left so many days ago. The voyage continues, and the sun and moon take their turns at lighting up the weary world. Sometimes the ship goes under sail, at other times oars are needed. You are seasick often as the swell rocks the boat, and so unable to help us the necessary tasks in the journey. Your stomach feels as if trampled by the Marathonian bull. Your head reels as if being caught a glancing blow by a straight-flying spear. You are dimly aware that the ship, having hugged the coast of Attica, now approaches rugged Ceos. There are shouts and noises above. "Altheus!" you hear the captain cry. "Come quickly!" You stagger to your feet and lurch unsteadily to the deck, wondering at the ways of seafaring folk. When you look out to where everyone is pointing, you see, and horror grips your mind, this. Alright guys, here's what you see. Are you ready, people? Are you ready for the madness of what this is about, what you're about to see? I don't know if you are. I just don't know. Hold on, I'm getting up the image right now. What's up, Mort Tormund? How you been, man? There you go, Iron One. Exactly. It's good to see you, Mort. How you been, dude? It has been a minute. It has been a minute, sir. Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to capture this image. Here we go. Here we go. All right, you guys see this. When you look out to where everyone is pointing, you see... thanks, dude. Well, I appreciate the kind words, Mort. That's okay, man. Whenever your life happens, man. Whenever you're able to make it is great. When you look out to where everyone is pointing, you see, and horror grips your mind, a great sea monster shaped like a serpent, with slimy spines sticking from its head, huge beyond imagining, eyes sparkling with the glint of the deeps, jaws wide and ravening, its body shining blue, green, and yellow under the summer sun. Okay, you are neutral with Poseidon, so... The sea serpent is might 20, protection 12. For the record, might 20, protection 12. So, question. Your first vote of the evening. Do you wish to attack it? Or do you wish to do nothing in case the creature has not noticed the ship? This, by the way, is the newest Arvbot version, so... It looks like a freaking straight-up sea serpent. If you've ever seen Sinbad... Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll tell you what, man, you know, I wonder if it's just a UK thing, but I told you guys these game books were not available in America. They were only available in the United Kingdom. I feel like the UK is just tougher than America, like from a game book point of view. Like I feel like these books are rough, man. Although House of Hell was brutal. So House of Hell, as we know, is freaking brutal. That said, though, what's up, Bona Malkov? Yeah, the Sinbad movies, right? That little stop motion. Who's the guy? He did it for Clash of the Titans too. For Clash of the Titans as well? Who's the guy who's famous for the? It was that Harry something Honigman. Harry. I can't remember the guy's name that did the stop motion stuff. Balanced Hydra. I remember that sea serpent. I used to go to school with him when I was a wee little Hydra. Was he a bully, Hydra? Would he like pull your tail? In gym class. Ray Harryhausen, that's it, Kill. Yeah. That's right. Well, I mean, good, Mort. I don't know that good is sort of a relative term, right? They were awesome. I don't know how good they were. Oh, you were the bully. Because you were... So wait... Balance Hydra, are you saying that you made this sea serpent? Like, we are facing the serpent because of what you did to him? Is this one of those... for some reason, I really have this urge to play Jeremy spoken class today. Like, people screwed around with Jeremy, and we saw what happened there. We released a lion. So you're responsible. So I hope you know... Look, Hydra, you know... This is why you don't do this to the gods. It's like that scene in Mulan where Mushu is like, dishonor on your family, dishonor on your daughter, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on you, dishonor on that. Yeah. Well, right. I think that's probably true, Mort. I think that's probably true. Although Clash of the Titans I would not put in that level. Clash of the Titans was cool. I don't care what anybody says. Well, it doesn't look good, build, but, you know, we'll see how things go. All right, it looks like people are mostly like, do nothing and hope that it doesn't, and hope that it doesn't, hope it hasn't noticed. We're going to find out. Here we go. Possibly beaten to death by a fish, exactly. Okay, so do nothing and hope it hasn't noticed. Let's see what happens there. There was no clue, I don't believe. Actually, let me check this quickly. Hold on 1 second. I want to make sure that I wasn't missing... Okay, yeah, there was no hint. Okay. Right, so... A silence falls on the company, afraid lest even the slightest sound alert the creature, yet it is no use. It comes like a dog on the scent of fresh meat after the battle. With one toss of its head, it rips off the figurehead of Athena, swallows it whole, and turns once again towards the ship. You realize that you have no weapons. Will you take the time to go down below decks to fetch the weapons, or will you go into battle unarmed? I would recommend Clash of the Titans, Mort. I think Clash of the Titans is excellent. That's what I would do. Yeah, oh god, Hillness, it was so hot here, man. I was talking about that today. It was 100 degrees, and it felt it. Like, it really felt it. So, try to get our armaments from below deck or go into battle unarmed, because the serpent is bearing down on you, like, right now. So, as we speak. Hey, what's up, Sutifi? 4 months of work and promoted. Nice, dude. Well, listen, you're doing good work, man. You're going out there and doing business. That's what I'm saying. Sutifi, did I tell you, Sutifi, that if all goes well, because I believe we talked about it, you're from Finland, right? I believe. Am I screwed up about that, Sutifi, or not? Because I might, if I get accepted to Worldcon, I'm going to Worldcon this coming week, which is in Kansas City, Missouri. Next year, Worldcon is in Helsinki, Finland. So if I get accepted for panels, I've done about 5 or 6 Worldcons. If I get accepted for panels, there's no guarantee, but if I get accepted for panels, I might be coming to Helsinki, Finland. So I might be coming to Helsinki next year. It's possible. In which case, I want to be clear, you better freaking, you and like Ralphie and some of the other Finns better freaking figure out a way to get down there, goddammit. You're on a big wooden ship, Build. Big wooden ship. Me and Builder can kite this guy. If I get accepted for panels. That's it. Exactly, Illness. Oh, there you go, man. Awesome. So yeah, Worldcon is in Helsinki next year, so hopefully. I started going to Worldcon in 2009, and I've been to, I went to Worldcon 2009 in Montreal. I went to Worldcon, and I get confused about when all these happened. I went to Worldcon in Reno. I think that might have been 2011. I went to Worldcon in Chicago in 2012. I went to Worldcon in San Antonio. I think that might have been 2013, but I don't remember. I went to Worldcon in I did not go to Worldcon in Spokane last year. And then I went to this. I think I've been to like 5 Worldcons, I want to say. But just spear the big serpent with the ship. Yeah, no, I mean, look, we'll see. So try to get our armaments from below deck. I'm going to give us the last call here. Or go into battle unarmed. This is what we got. Well, so that's not a bad call. I think the only problem, and it doesn't give you a hint here, by the way. There's no opportunity to get a hint. But I do wonder whether part of the problem is that there's nothing you can't, like, what are you going to ram? Like, you know, it's not like a whale where there's like one sort of body, or I should say one body that's in a relatively compact space. Whales are big, but they're big targets. Serpents are sort of swirly creatures. Like if you ram the body, doesn't it just sort of go, whoa, like take you in and then like surround you with its body? I don't know, by the way. I just want to point out that I've never fought a sea serpent, but I'm actually taking notes just in case. Next time I'm on a cruise ship, if I see a sea serpent, I want to know what to do. So this is important information for me to have. All right. Okay, looks like people are in favor of the armaments. So let's do it. Let's see what happens. You rush below decks, frantically trying to reach your weapons before the beast strikes again. You are too late. There is a great crunch as of the mighty oak which falls, roots torn by great Father Zeus's thunderstroke. Water rushes in, and you are carried off into the churning depths. Now you must roll 2 dice. If the sum is greater than or equal to the difference between your honor and shame, go to 453. Now normally I would say I would ask for a volunteer to roll dice, but you can't do, there's no reason to do that because you can't possibly roll dice where it would not be greater than or equal to. So let's see what happens. When you emerge above the waters, you see to your horror the sea serpent just a few feet away. It turns its head, iridescent in the sunlight, and sees you. There is no hope. It snaps its jaws, and your red blood is spilt in the wine-dark sea, the realm of Poseidon, where Zeus's aid cannot heal you. Welp. Death count 3. I, by the way, am not doing the traditional Amazing Grace with this because I feel like it is... I don't feel like it's appropriate for the time period. So, yeah. So, welp. All right. Now, the good news is, though, your save point was very recent to this, so. Oh, yeah, no problem, man. And everyone died at the end, yes. So, all right, 3 deaths. 3 deaths in. And Zeus wouldn't even have saved you there, even as it was. Okay. So back we go to the save point. So you get on the boat. I'm not going to reread that section. And you are on the boat, and now you are back facing the serpent. So I'm going to put you back into the situation where you're facing the serpent. So right now, Sea Serpent is Might 20, Protection 12. Now remember, you had a couple of choices on this chain of events that just happened. The first was you had to decide whether to attack it or to hope that it wouldn't notice you, okay? Then the second decision was, when it came to attack you, whether to go get your armaments from below decks or whether to fight it unarmed. So there's 2 choices that you have to make. I just wanted to remind everyone that just right off the bat before anyone said, well, we have to fight him off the bat. Not necessarily. It depends. I'm Greek Orthodox, so I'll allow Amazing Grace. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Dragon. Fair enough. So, with that said, what shall we do? What should we do? Should we attack it? Or do nothing and hope it hasn't noticed the ship? Well, but again, it wasn't the notice. It wasn't the... That's the... Yeah, exactly, right, EKeg? What's up, EKeg? It wasn't that the hoping didn't notice failed horribly. It was when you went below decks to get your weapons that failed horribly. You don't know whether or not staying above and fighting it unarmed would have worked. I'm only letting you guys know that just so you don't immediately dismiss the possibility, because it's possible. I haven't seen it, but it's possible that hoping it hasn't noticed would work if you stayed and tried to attack it unarmed. Just saying. That's, you know, I don't know, but I'm just saying. I'll tell you right now, this is going to be an interesting fight because the only way you're going to be able to hit it, like if you go in with your axe, that would give you an additional 2 might. So you'd have like a 17, or no, you'd have a 9 rather. and you'd need to get an 11 to hit it. But the thing is, on an 11 or 12, you automatically hit anyway, so you might as well just continue to use your sword. I know. Yeah, no harpoon guns. True, Arnwen. That's a very good point. You make a good point. Let's punch it in the uvula. You'd have to find the uvula, can you imagine? I feel like this is a Shadow of the Colossus boss, basically. You guys are fighting a Shadow of the Colossus boss. That's what's happening right now. Alright, I'm going to give it a last call here. That's a game I completely want to play, by the way, is the new one from that company, Last Guardian. Oh, man. I'm all about it. I loved Ico, and I loved Shadow of the Colossus. One of my favorite games, actually, of that generation. Oh, really? You were like, I knew it. You're like, you don't go on ships. I mean, that was the thing, right? Is that a lot of people don't realize that sea travel, back at this time, sea travel was deadly. Like, sea travel was really dangerous. Not because of sea serpents, presumably, but because of so many things that could go wrong. And there's no contacts. You can't use a cell phone or a satellite phone. No GPS, right? So, exactly, you can't, right? Yeah, I've seen Sod plays Dragon's Dogma a lot. I thought Dragon's Dogma looked cool. I'm not sure that I'd want to deal with that over and over and over again, like because I feel like it seems like it gets a little repetitive, Dragon's Dogma, but tell there's a hot male sea serpent. How do you know this is a female sea serpent, Mort? You don't know. Oh god, Build. What's up, Marinda? Yes, the epic conclusion, the actual conclusion this time, one way or the other. Assuming you can beat a sea serpent, which is not necessarily easy. Okay, it sounds like everyone wants to attack. So, attack it is. You are going to attack it. Alright. You realize that you are unarmed. Your weapons are still down below. There is little time to decide. You could grab a harpoon and attack with this. It has Might 3, Protection 0. Or you could dash down and collect your arms from the hold of the ship. So, attack with a harpoon. So you do have harpoons. But it's not a harpoon gun. I think Thorg's problem is that he wants a harpoon gun. You know? Like... I just want to go on the record and say this is a horrible life choice. Oh, man. Okay. So it looks pretty definitive to me. A gun that fires Thresher Maws. Yeah, there you go. No. Oh, no. Now, be nice, Mort. Be nice, because, let me tell you, my mother-in-law is a very, very fine cook. So I would not want to be harpooning my mother-in-law, because you know what happens if I harpoon my mother-in-law? No cinnamon scones. That can't be allowed to happen. Okay. You have her salmon casserole, and you come talk to me about harpooning her, alright? Can we cast wild magic at the beast? If only. I need my whaler hat. I should have had my Hartford Whalers hat. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Varney? How you doing, man? Good to see everyone tonight. Okay, so... let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, it looks pretty clear that people want to attack with a harpoon. Okay, now, the deal with the harpoon, remember, so your current... Right now, you have no protection. So right now, you are working with a functional protection of 11. And your might actually is 7 because your spear, the harpoon, is 3 anyway. So it's the same might that you would have had, but your protection is only 11, okay, not 7. So with that said, okay, so here are your choices. Now think about this carefully, guys. You could, here are your 2 choices. You could plunge into the water to fight with the beast in the chill depths of ocean. Or you could stand your ground and await its onslaught on the pines of Aegeus' ship. They are. They are indeed. What is this fight music?
We carry a harpoon, but there ain't no whale, so we tell tall tales and sing a wailing tune.
Whalers on the moon. Very appropriate. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough call. It's definitely a tough call. Yeah, I've only ever seen a couple of episodes of Futurama. Causes us losing our face. Oh, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, this is the tough. Michael Phelps won his 23rd gold medal. Holy cow. That guy is unbelievable, Michael Phelps. Really, really unbelievable. For some reason, I have not been, like, on top of the Olympics this year. I usually really like the Olympics, but I just, for some reason, this year, I've just been so occupied with other stuff. Yeah, no, I know. It's a matter, unfortunately, of how much time I have to watch stuff more, to be honest with you. Generally, the last series that I watched extensively was Leverage. Mostly because I just have so little time, because I'm always, like... If I have any time for entertainment, I'm usually watching a movie with the family, or my wife, or I have Twitch on in the background. Or sometimes I do watch sports. So I do watch some sports. Like I watch baseball. During the football season, I watch a lot of football, some tennis. I do like watching sports, but it's always stuff that I can do while I'm doing other things. So Leverage was great, though. Yeah, he really is. He really is. He's a dolphin. I love Leverage. So good. But it was partly because I liked Ocean's 11. I actually know very well the author who did the novelization of Leverage, Matt Forbeck. I know Matt very well. Matt's a good dude. Matt's one of those guys that everyone talks about this. Matt frustrates the hell out of authors because Matt is one of those guys who just produces good work all the time. Like, he can write 8 novels a year, 9 novels a year. He does this at the same time that he does game design, and he does all that while having 5 children, 4 of whom are quadruplets. So he had quadruplets plus another kid. So he's got 5 kids. He's got all this stuff. So you'd be tempted to hate a guy like that because you'd be like, come on, man, really? But he's a really nice guy. So you can't even hate him. You're like, you're like, oh, fine. Hi, Matt. That's really how it is. You're just sort of like, God damn it. He does all, and he was the guy who did the Leverage novelization. He just does all this awesome stuff, and you're like, yeah, this guy made a pact with Satan, basically, because he's a nice guy, so you can't even be down at him. You can't be like, If he was a jerk, it'd be a lot easier. I'll just say that. Oh man. Okay, so Let's give this a last call here. No, the other way around, actually, Mort. The other way around. The Leverage book that he wrote was based on the TV show. So it was, and I don't remember, like, I don't know if it was, like, based on one episode or the whole series. But no, the Leverage book that he wrote was based on the TV show. He is. But that's the thing, you know, he is, but he's really kind of humble, too. So you want to be like, you're being a jerk. He's like, yeah, well, maybe. And then you're like, you know, like, what are you going to be like? You're like, yeah, maybe you are. Yeah, because, yeah, I don't, my impression, Marinda, is that he does quite a bit, because he's actually part of the Geek Dad blog, so he spends a lot of time talking about, like, bringing his kids to various conventions, and, like, you know, various, like, things that they're doing, athletic events, and stuff like that. So my impression is that he's pretty involved, but, I mean, I don't know their personal life, obviously, so I can't say, but... He's also been married to his wife, and she, like, is always tweeting, like, you know, I love my husband, blah, blah, blah. They've been together, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years, something like that, so, you know. Well, right, there you go, Mort, there you go. Actually, my wife and I are 3 days away from our 13-year anniversary. We were married on August 16th, 2003. So in 3 days, it will be 13 years that we've been married. And we've been dating since... We knew each other since 1995, so we've known each other for 21 years, and we started dating in 1997. So we've been going out for almost 19 years now, but we will have been married for 13. Yep, that's right. That's right, Dunsel, he is. Yeah, as you know, Dunsel, I know a lot about the Shadowrun people because John Helfers, a good friend of mine who was the editor who bought my first novel, is the head of the Catalyst Shadowrun novel line, so I know a lot of those guys. What's this now? That's Terma. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, listen, you know, sleep is overrated. No, what it really comes down to is it's about balance, honestly, and scheduling really helps. That really helps quite a bit. That makes me wonder, Ekag. It's a good question. Thanks, Bone. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to fight on the ship. All right, people. You've decided to fight on the ship. The beast comes back towards the black ship, and the clash as you meet is mighty. The sun's rays... Hold on a second. The sun's rays on your armor are as sparks from a fire, and the din of your encounter makes it seem as if the very sky is not secure in its place. Alright, guys, here we go. So, it has got... Sea Serpent. So it's got a might of... I believe I said... What did I say? Okay, there we go. Okay, so its protection is... So its might is 20. Its protection is 12. So actually, this isn't... I actually take this back. I thought... I was actually reversing those numbers in my head. So it's got a protection of 20 and a might of 12. It's got a might of 20 and a protection of 12. That might of 20 means, in all likelihood, you're gonna get nailed. You're gonna get hit by this thing. So what you've got to do, you got to hit it twice before it kills you off. That's what you got to do. No, Jedi, I wouldn't say that, because those are two different projects. Ed is not publishing the Icarus stuff. I don't yet know what I'm doing for book 2 of the Icarus series. There is going to be a book 2 of Icarus series, by the way. In fact, there's going to be book 3 and book 4. But I don't know yet if I'm going through Silence in the Library publishing for that or not. Stay tuned about that. But no, that doesn't necessarily... The fact that I'm working with Teg on my Greyshade stuff, that's straight up prose, so that's different kind of deal. So, how many times can we die before it's GG? Okay, so I'm assuming Dragon is on board. Any thoughts on Jim Butcher? I like Jim. I interviewed Jim, actually, Jay, on Speculate. We interviewed him, I want to say, last year, maybe a little more over a year. And Jim's a good dude. He's an interesting guy and is a big gamer as well. And obviously very successful. So I have no complaints about him. And I think he was guest of honor at Gen Con, I want to say, last year? I think, no, Terry Brooks was the guest of honor last year. Maybe a couple of years ago. Anyway. So, yes, Dragon, are you rolling dice for this one? Are you on board? Because I don't think I see a Lego in here who's the usual guy. So are you rolling for us? Hey, Jeremy, Sea Server, you let us go, I'll give you the C address that Femme Hydra used to crush on back in high C school. That's awesome. The Sea Serpent's like, really? Could you, like, drop a note in her locker? That's pretty awesome. Okay. So... actually, I don't know her, Jedi. I don't really know her. I don't know a lot about the Warcraft novel line. I do know... I know Aaron Rosenberg, who's a friend of mine, wrote a Warcraft novelization some years ago. So I know that, but I don't know Christy Gold. Yeah, the dragon who rolls snake eyes will be our roller for the Sea Serpent, exactly. So that's basically the drill, man. You gotta hit. You gotta hit all the time. All the time and for all the marbles. So it's got a 12. So because you've got a skill of 7, you just need... It's not a giant... I mean, it's doable. You need to roll a 5 on 2 dice to hit it. Then you got to wait as you get destroyed by it in the next hit. So, yeah, Robert Jordan, yeah. You know, I interviewed Terry Brooks on Speculate. We met him last year at Gen Con when he was guest of honor, Ralthoin. Good to see you, Ralthoin. Good to see you, man. What's up? But he was really excited. Hello, Certainly Dane. Welcome into the stream. But he was really excited about the MTV series. He loved what they had done with it. I don't know. Thank you for the follow, Certainly Dane, and welcome in. Welcome to the Argonauts. Yeah, so I don't know, Ralthoin. He was really excited about it. So yeah, so Dragon, you can roll those 2 6-sided dice, and we're looking to get enough so you can tie up a 12. Yeah, they wanted it to be their, Game of Thrones is what they wanted, but... Nine. All right, you actually strike it with the harpoon. It lashes back. All right, it's wounded. Now it's its turn. So here's the deal. It's got a might of 20, so it's automatically going to hit you unless it rolls, and let me just confirm what the roll is where you would miss. If you roll a... if he rolls a 2 or a 3, he will automatically miss. So if he rolls a 2 or 3, he will miss. Otherwise, you're going to be wounded. So here we go. 2 or 3. Nope, it's a 5. So you are wounded. Which, not a surprise. All right, here you go, Dragon. You got to hit him here. You do need to hit him, if at all possible. I mean, look at the size of that thing, 9 again. Seriously wounded. All right, now let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when you seriously wound it. It says if you seriously wound it, turn to 582. Okay. Your last blow strikes home, and the creature shrieks out in agony, lashes out with its tail, and tries to swim off, its skin of iridescent green now clouded with its dark red blood. The captain, praising Zeus for deliverance, orders those of the rowers who have survived to get underway. The black-sailed vessel limps onwards to Crete. Have 7 honor points. Wow. 7 honor points. Damn, son. I just saw Scott Lynch, actually, Ralthoin. He was at Gen Con. I've interviewed Scott Lynch before. Eliza Locklemore is good stuff. How about that? You guys harpooned him. See, Thorg? All you guys needed was a harpoon. That's all you needed. And by the way, remember, you guys gave Dragonspear a lot of crap last time. Dragonspear gets some credit. He just took down a sea serpent. So, you're like, Moby Dick this? So, nice. Not only did you win that fight, but freaking 7-point honor boost now, man. 12 honor. That's good stuff. All right. I just didn't realize that its protection was so low. That made it really easy. So, I know, right, Miranda? He's like, thanks be to Zeus. You're like, thanks be to me. For the next day and night, the ship is driven by a great heaven-sent storm through the deep-running waters of ocean, and its timbers are broken. 3 oarsmen are cast into the black whirlpools, never to return to the world of mortal men. Of this you see little, Altheus, for you are too ill. Perhaps your passage would have been eased if Hermes the messenger had granted you the use of his feathered wings to fly to fair Crete. At last the ship, battered by storm and serpent, arrives at Sithnos for repairs, and to take on fresh water to slake the thirst of the tired seamen. You emerge onto the deck, but are carried down the gangway to the harbor, while the crowds look on at this strange ship from Athens. You slump down beside a pile of well-woven baskets, and an old woman revives you with a bunch of grapes. Oh no, everyone was fighting the sea serpent, Ekag. You were the only one that were hitting it, though. Okay. So, the question is, what are you going to do? Do you accompany the captain around Sithnos? Using virtual dice is the only way to keep the numbers random, really? Do you explore on your own? Explire. How about explore? Moving boldly into the interior? Or do you stay at the quayside while the fast-moving ship is repaired? So, what's it going to be, guys? Are you going to accompany the captain around Sithnos? Are you going to explore on your own, moving into the interior of the city? Or will you stay at the quayside while the ship is being repaired? Yeah, you know, I have to say, when I was a kid, I liked the sword of Shannara, but I have to say I preferred the Elfstones of Shannara. And apparently it's Shannara, by the way, which really, he pronounced it properly, I guess. It's really weird to me. It's like GIF versus GIF. Like, I grew up with it being GIF. It's very hard for me to be like, no, now it's peanut butter. So it's very hard for me to call Shannara, but anyway. I thought that I liked Elfstones better than I liked Sword. It was pretty derivative of Tolkien, honestly. You had Alanon, the mysterious druid, who's basically Gandalf. You've got the sword, which basically becomes the MacGuffin that everyone has to worry about. So there was some of that. But I enjoyed it when I was younger, and I thought the series, as it went on, got more nuanced. If you want, I mean, like, Dennis McKiernan was shameless. Like, Dennis McKiernan was, like, straight up, like, let me just lift Tolkien and put him in my book. And there were other examples of that, obviously. Aragon, you know, was a dreadful book. Based on that, largely because of that. It just steals a whole ton of tropes. And there's other examples of things like that that just don't really work well. I've talked many times on here about Terry Goodkind and how I think Terry Goodkind is an irredeemable, incredibly jackass of jackasses. He's a jerk and a complete hack, in my opinion. He is a overrated hack. This is a guy who, in his book Wizard's First Rule, and Wizard's First Rule, by the way, is people are stupid. That's Wizard's first rule. Not, oh, here's this magic spell. Oh, Wizard's first rule relates to something awesome. No, it's Wizard's first rule is people are stupid. He actually has a speech, and I swear to God, this is maybe the dumbest things I have ever read in fiction. He has a speech in which this person is talking about the evils of fire. But not like, oh, you should keep your house from burning down and you should be really careful. He talks about how fire itself is evil. Like, fire is evil. Like, fire is a bad thing. Like, fire is a terrorist. It's like Donald Trump, but stupider. Like, it was the dumbest, and he's giving this speech, and people are cheering, like, they have tears in their eyes, like, oh, yes, fire is the evil we must defeat. I'm like, what the... Because his father was killed by fire or something. It was the stupidest thing I ever read. And then combine that with the fact that he's an incredible misogynist. And then on top of it, the fact that he also acts like, he says that, like, his work is much more important than fantasy fiction. Like, his work is literature, everyone else is just, like, kids' games. And then look at the ridiculously stupid, pretentious picture on the cover of his book, where he's standing there with his arms folded with a stupid ponytail. He is a jackass, okay? I'm just saying that right now. Like, Goodkind is what a hack. Many authors, I have respect for many, many authors and what they do. Goodkind is not one of them. He is an irredeemable hack. Exactly, Ralph Thorne. It's like when you get hit by a tsunami, right? Now, tsunamis are awful, terrible, devastating. Does anybody sit around and go like put a most wanted poster of a tsunami on their wall? Like, we need to hunt down and kill Osama bin Laden? No, we need to hunt down and kill a tornado. Like, what? Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. It's just so dumb. Ugh. Okay, so we're going to give this a last call here. We got 5 votes for Company to Captain, 1 for Exploring on Your Own. I don't know Peter Hamilton actually balanced Hydra. The name sounds familiar, but I don't really know anything about Peter Hamilton, I gotta be honest. Oh, fire. It could be, Ralph Thorne. It could be. It's like, I mean, look. Like, I liked the Dragonlance books when I was a kid, but Dragonlance... Oh, he does space operas? Oh, cool. Does he publish with Baen? Do you know? B-A-E-N? Balanced Hydra? I mean, like, you know, Ralph Thorne, like, Dragonlance was fun when I was a kid, but that's not great literature. I mean, Raceland is a good character, but most of Dragonlance is eh. But you kind of know that going in, right? Like, you know, you're not pretending to be some epically impressive figure that's doing impressively good stuff. I mean, like, what garbage. Oh, thanks, Jedi. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I agree with you, Mort. No, I don't agree with you on that, Miranda. I gotta be honest. I respectfully disagree. I don't think... I've read all of Wizard's First Rule, and it's obsessed with torture. One of the ways that they get out of this one tower, I'm going to spoil this part for you, is literally by punching a young boy in the face over and over and over again. And the theory is because it's actually a demon. The point is, he describes in great detail child abuse, is like straight up what he does. There's like sexual abuse, there's like torture, it's terrible prose, it's just garbage. And then when you combine it with his arrogance and his walking around and being like, I am better than all. I mean, he literally says that you can't compare his book to fantasy because it's so much superior to all of the stuff that we write. What? So I don't agree. I think that there's actually a bunch of sites that are dedicated to just talking about how dumb his particular work is. Look, some people can have, like, I don't know, some writing out there is not my cup of tea. I don't actually love Game of Thrones, to be honest with you guys, but George Martin is not a hack. George Martin is a good writer. Just because his stuff may not necessarily be my cup of tea doesn't mean that I can't acknowledge that the guy's a legit writer. He's a very good writer. There's other people like that. Richard K. Morgan, not my thing, but the guy's a good writer. But Goodkind is not a good writer. I mean, like, on top of everything else, he's arrogant as all hell, and he's not a good writer. Ugh. Yeah, no, I respectfully disagree. And I did, in fairness, I did not read the other books in the series, because once I got past book 1, I'm like, no thank you. But I read all of book 1, and I was really disappointed. I picked it up in a bookstore in Seattle, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I started reading, and I'm like, what is this? And I literally tried to get all the way to the end of the book. It was hard, because it was so bad. But I got to the end of it, and I'm like, that was terrible. It was almost as disappointing. It was like, it wasn't quite as bad as Battlefield Earth, but it was close. It was pretty close. Oh, man. Yeah, exactly, Dragon. Oh, that's fair, Kill. Yeah, I mean, it's just my opinion. It just goes downhill. Oh, does it really? Oh, God. Yeah, Martin. See, Martin knows what he's doing. He's a good writer. Again, not my thing, but Martin's a good writer. Kata! What is up, Catabasis? What's going on, man? How are you, boss? Dude, I have not talked to you in a long time. What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. That is the coolest picture. Oh my god. I enjoyed Brent Weeks. Yeah, I've interviewed Brent Weeks. I know Brent Weeks pretty well. Brent Weeks is a cool dude. Yeah, I hear you, Mort. Yeah. Is Terma, that picture is awesome. That is so cool, that picture. So cool. I love that. Okay, so sorry about the delay, guys. So we are going to accompany the captain into the way. Just so many interesting conversations going on tonight. Okay, so where are we? Blah, 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 blah. We accompany him around. Yes. Okay. Okay. Quickly you move away from... Yes, Dunsel. Oh, I'm glad, man. I'm glad to hear that, Kata. I'm glad, dude. Yeah, Dunsel, yeah. That it's really sad when that happens, when you read this stuff. It's a little bit the way that I felt about Orson Scott Card. And Ender's Game and Speaker for the Dead are still great books, and I still teach Ender's Game. But it is hard now to read Orson Scott Card's stuff. When you sort of know when you find out what he is personally, that's kind of rough. And the same thing happens with other work as well, where you're just kind of like, oh god. It's like, I remember I used to love The Cosby Show when I was a kid. How could I watch anything relating to Bill or Fat Albert? I used to watch the Fat Albert cartoon. How can I watch anything related to Bill Cosby now? Like, legitimately, how can I do that? You know what I mean? Like, oh my god. All right, see you, Aaron. Thanks for stopping by. Check out the link. Yeah, I can blame Shatter. That's good, man. Wait, where did you say Dragon Spear? Dragon Spear. Donald Trump quote spoken by Billy West as Zap Brannigan's. That's cool. I'll have to check that out later. That's awesome, man. Yeah, exactly, Kata. Yeah. Agree, Mirinda. Agree generally, yes. But I generally agree that they're disconnected, which is why I still teach Ender's Game. But it gets harder for me on a sort of just a visceral level to like the art as much, knowing what I know about him. So you're right. I do disconnect it in my mind, but it's not easy. What do I think of Robert Jordan? I think Robert Jordan was a solid writer who created a great series, like a huge series, let it spiral out of control and didn't know how to finish it. And when he ended up passing away, sadly, Brandon Sanderson was the perfect person to fix it. And I do know Brandon. Brandon's spoken in my classes, and I've interviewed Brandon several times. I know Brandon pretty well. And Brandon was exactly the person to finish that series because Brandon has a very good work ethic, and Brandon gets things done. He's a pro. He knows how to get stuff finished. So I like Robert Jordan. I read The Great Hunt. I guess that was the first book. I think I read the first 3 books in that series, and I liked it. Oh, you did? Oh, wow, Shatter. But I just didn't have the stuff to be able to get farther on. Oh, really, Dunsel? No kidding. Yeah, so the Wheel of Time was a good series. It needed to be compressed. And I talked to people who were big fans who gave up on the Wheel of Time when they started doing prequels before he was even done with the actual series. So, Eye of the World. That's right. I read Eye of the World, I read Great Hunt, and then I read the 3rd book in the series, which I don't remember. Those were all good. And then they started to get a little wobbly from there. Okay. Yeah. No, I liked it to begin with this term, but I couldn't stick with it through 15 books. And I so many other books to read, to be honest with you. Okay, where are we? All right, so here we go. Quickly you move away from the strong benched vessels in the harbor where swift preparations are made for the repair of the ship. The Athenians bound for Crete stand in a forlorn group chattering among themselves, but you leave them behind. At last you catch up with the captain who is talking to a man outside the inn. He hands over some scrolls of parchment and then speaks to you with winged words. Come in and join me for a drink. Do you accept, or do you decline gracefully and walk on without him? Now, before you answer, I will also say that you are being offered a hint here. So they're giving you an option for a hint. So there's basically 3 choices. Take the hint. All right. Ah, yes. Okay. I have not. So I have read one of the Discworld books. I've also read Reaper Man. I think Terry Pratchett is underrated. I think Terry Pratchett is an exceptional writer. I think he has a spectacular prose style. And I think the prose style is so good that it covers over. Pratchett was so good with his humor that I think some people thought that he was just a funny guy. He wasn't a funny guy. Like, I mean, he was funny, but that wasn't the point. The point was his work was much deeper than that. Reaper Man made me cry, like, on several occasions. Reaper Man is a brilliant book. Brilliant book. I think Pratchett is underrated. And I thought that his loss was really, the way that he died was really cruel, it seemed to me. I mean, there's maybe no good way to go, but that, for him to have that, for early onset Alzheimer's, a guy who was as good with language as he was, man, I don't know. Pratchett was brilliant. So, Pokemon Go. I mean, listen, it gets people out there. By the way, so again, guys, don't forget, we've got a vote going on. What should we do? Are you going to take the hint? Are you going to accept the drink or decline and move on? All right, sounds good. Thanks, Katic. Good to see you again, dude. So I do know Bob. Yes, I do know Bob Salvatore. In fact, Jedi, I will mention. Oh, Pokemon Go. Let me finish the Pokemon Go, and then I'll talk about Bob Salvatore. So Pokemon Go, I think it sounds fine. A lot of people that I know are having fun with it. It gets people out and like about and doing things. That's cool. I'm not as sort of sanguine about having something where people are focusing more on a parallel experience of reality than actual reality. But in general, you know, I think it's fun and it's fine for people to do it. I'm not really that interested in myself. But I never was a huge Pokemon guy to begin with, but I think it's fine. As far as Bob Salvatore, yes, I know Bob. Bob's got a strong Boston accent, and I have to say, I did a signing with Bob a few years ago at Gen Con, and this was after one of his 6 million Drist books. Anyway, also Ed Greenwood, who I know better than I know Bob. Ed I would consider a friend. Bob I would just say is an acquaintance because I've only met him, once or twice. But Ed and Bob are really close. And so I was sitting next to him, and so Bob's line is like, out here. And this is like 3 years ago, so my line is like one person. Okay, like nobody is at my, because it's, so it's all Bob. So he and I are sitting there chatting, and he's got this very strong Boston accent. He's like, I had the khakis with the khakis and the cavadad and bad habit and, all that stuff, very strong. And then I was like, we got into a conversation about politics and about what he, sort of people's opinions of President Obama. Now, he is a very strong, Democrat, not just a left-winger, but he's a big, party guy. He loves the Democrats, and he particularly loves Obama. He has a lot of respect for him, so do I. So we got into this big discussion. He's like, what they're doing over there to him is blah, 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 and they shouldn't do this, and he's a good man. And they're going on about this. And so people are just waiting, right, on this big line. And we were talking for about 10 minutes, and then he's like, oh, crap. Oh, crap, sorry. And he, turns back and, starts, frantically signing books, and he apologized to everybody. And then he stayed light enough so that everybody got to sign books. But we were just getting into this big discussion with each other. I also know for a fact, and I'm not going to get into details about it, I know for a fact that Bob went to bat for Ed Greenwood on several occasions when Ed was not getting the respect that he deserved, and Bob went to bat for him. So Bob's a good dude. Yeah, but the thing is what I would say about that is I agree that lots of people know Pratchett, but the reason I say underrated is that I think they put him in the category with Piers Anthony, or Robert Aspirin, or these guys the sort of, myth conceptions and all the stupid pun stuff, you know what I mean? They think of him as a goofy fantasist, he just does funny stuff. he's much more than that. Like, I mean, nothing against Douglas Adams, but Douglas Adams is more of a goofy, like, sci-fi guy than Pratchett is goofy. Pratchett is not goofy. He's got a biting wit. He's got really good command of satire. He's a satirist, is my point. I think he's a very good satirist. And doing satire is very hard, because lots of people think they do satire and they suck at it. He's very good at it, and so that's what I mean by underrated. It's not that he's not popular, it's that I don't think people realize the impact that he had. I'll just say that I know many, many, many people in the field who were really shaken up when Pratchett died. Really shaken up. And people that you would not expect would be influenced by him, like their style seems totally different, very influenced by him as a writer. So that's exactly why. He was not, by the way, I have to say, Pratchett was not a happy man in a lot of ways. Neil Gaiman wrote a really interesting article about him. Of course, Neil Gaiman worked with Pratchett on a couple of books, and he talked about how Pratchett was very angry about the world in a lot of ways, and a lot of his satire was sort of showing people, here's the way, you know, the world should work. But he was not happy with the way he saw the world. He was a little bit like George Carlin, the comedian, that way, where he really kind of was upset about it, but he concealed it under this amazing veneer. So what's up, Elias? So yeah, no, I'm telling you, Reaper Man is a really moving book. Really moving book. Yeah. And that's right. Good Omens, yeah. There you go, Killbite. Yeah, exactly. Approach satire is like sandblasting a soup cracker, exactly. And then when it's wrong, then when they're like, oh, you know, they're like, I don't understand, like, do you not get satire? I'm like, no, you're failing at it, you know. How do we get into Skyrim? Oh, this is Oblivion. Alright, I guess we'll keep Oblivion for now. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, oh god, the documentary about the early Alzheimer's, about the euthanasia thing with the BBC. Yeah, I know, man. I know. So rough. Okay, where are we? So, we have decided to take the hint. Alright, let's see what he says. Let's see what it says. To your horror, you notice that the documents destined for Minos at Crete are among the papers. Hurriedly, you stop the innkeeper and explain the mistake. He smiles and hands them back. You decide that it would be better to return to the ship before the malicious barbs of the spirits of Sithnos can wound you further. You almost shake with joy as you return to the harbor that you have recovered the precious letters to Minos. If you had not had them, the wrath of gods and men at your mission's ending would have been as the stormy anger of the Olympians against the earth-built Titans, penned in their fiery tombs as punishment for the destruction wrought upon the fair green world. The ship is now repaired for the long journey ahead. Everything except the figurehead is replaced, but this cannot be, save on one festival day of the year when the priest of the city's patron may bless it and instill it with her power. You must traverse the seas without this protection, but if fearsome Poseidon is merciful, then the slender flame of your life's course may burn onto the Cretan shores. The captain is unsure now which route he should take for Crete. He must go ashore at Fire Penthera, home of lame Hephaestus, god of fire and craft, but either Melos or Apollo's Isle of Delos seem equally balanced for the intervening stop. That's a little confusingly written. Essentially, it means that you need to decide what island you're going to land on before you land on the island of Hephaestus, before you get to Crete. So, the gnarled and sea-wise man turns to you for advice. Will you go to Melos or Apollo's Isle of Delos? Or, as I like to call it, Delos, 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 come and we want to go. Sorry. It's unnecessary. There we go. Marinda, the way it works is that there was the numbers are italicized in my book. So when a number is italicized, it means that I am obligated to let you guys know that the possibility of taking a hint exists. Then you guys have to decide if it seems appropriate to take that or not. whether it makes sense to do it or not. If you think it does make sense, like if you're thinking, oh, we could use an item here, or oh, I want to make sure that, like, you know, if it seems like the right timing, then you can take the hint. But that's basically what it is. There's no clue in the text other than what I see with the italics. And basically that's what Dunsel said is exactly right. Oh, I agree with Marinda on that, yeah. I wouldn't say, as much as I like Pratchett, I wouldn't say that every Discworld novel is equally good. I would also say to get in a little bit later on, like I don't remember, and in fact, like I say, I've only read 1 or 2 of the Discworld novels, so there's other people who know more than I would. I'm just telling you, Reaper, you've got to read Reaper Man. Reaper Man is just genius. I'm just saying. Reaper Man is genius. There's a bunch of games that were done with Pratchett's stuff too, with Discworld. All right, last call on this. We got 4 votes from Melos. Right, exactly, Marinda. Exactly. But I got to be honest with you, Mort, and this is just a general comment. I should totally do an Ask Me Anything session sometime. I don't know if you guys would like that. Would you like doing an Ask Me Anything sometime with me? I've been thinking about doing something like that at some point, but I don't know if people would enjoy it. Oh, what happened? What was your pun, Wolf? What's up, Wolf Boy? What's your pun? We need to mellow out. Nice. There you go, Wolf. Good stuff, good stuff. You would like it? All right, Jedi, that's cool. So, AMA on Reddit. Well, I am going to be doing another one of those in a little while. By the way, for those of you who came in a little bit late, I just got my gray shade cover. Not the full wraparound, but I just got the picture, like the front cover. That's going to be on just the front, not the spine or anything. I'm very pleased. I think it came out really well. I'm very excited. Like a fireside chat. That'll be cool. Aw, thanks, Jedi. God damn it, Dragon. Look, okay? Just because you're bitter about some of your dice rolls doesn't mean you should take it out on me. No, I'm just kidding. I can't, no, I can't show the cover yet. No, they would kill me. I need to wait. I am, however, as soon as I can, I'd love to do a cover reveal. They're going to be making a bunch of announcements about it. I am only allowed to announce that I've seen it, like the front picture, and that the release date, that it's coming out on September 30th. So, but I don't agree with you about that, Mort. I think it may be true that you'll read it and you won't like it and it's not for you, and that's fine. But I would not sell yourself short about that stuff. You can get works on a number of levels. There are books that work very, very well on certain levels. There are books that are fun, that when you read below the surface, you're like, oh, there's more going on here than I thought. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't have to get every book at every single level. If, like, for example, just to use me as an example, when I wrote The Third Sign, my first book, that was a novel that I had concepts that I wanted to get across here and there, but I wrote it as a tale that hopefully you would enjoy as an adventure, like a story tale that you would like. And then there were people who read below the surface, and they talked about the impact of war, and they talked about the effect of, how evil approaches itself, how there are different versions of evil, how fear plays into our understanding of evil and bigotry. These are all things that were there, and then there were other things they brought up that I hadn't even thought about. But you don't need to appreciate them on those levels to appreciate the book. The best books work on all those levels. Shakespeare's great because it's great storytelling, and then on top of it, if you read further, you get all of these levels, beyond that. Like, Shakespeare's got all this depth. But it's a great story to begin with. And so, anyway, I wouldn't necessarily say, to avoid it because you're afraid you won't get it. I wouldn't say that. Now, if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, not every book is for everybody. But I wouldn't just assume I'm not going to get it. Not necessarily. Well, but that just may be... Listen, when you start getting, if you're able to like take like a, you know what you could do more, if you can like look online for like a video that sort of talks about explaining Shakespeare. You know who's a good one for this actually? There's a couple of YouTube videos about Patrick Stewart explaining Shakespeare and talking about Shakespeare, like almost master classes. You should watch that because Patrick Stewart's awesome. And that will really help you develop stuff. Shakespeare is my favorite playwright. He's the greatest playwright ever lived, in my opinion. But when you start seeing the stuff that he's doing, the stuff just like takes off to an incredible level. Like just an incredible level. Cute, Elias. All you see is white space. Cute. Cute. Very nice. Okay, so it looks like we are looking at... Did I give us the last call? I didn't yet. Last call. It looks like we're heading to Melos. Oh, Shakespeare. God, so brilliant. It's funny, the show that I saw today was supposed to be about these... it speculates what happened if this actor, Nathan Field, who in history was supposed to have passed away, but what if he faked his death and then like got on a ship heading for the New World with the Puritans and then tried to start a new theater in the New World? That's basically the premise of the play. And there's all these like Shakespearean references, so you would think it'd be right up my alley, and the show is like, meh. It's like, eh. And I think the reason is because I think there are all these gaps in the story and gaps in the narrative, and the pacing was off. And I was like, you know, it's interesting. You can use lots of Shakespearean lines, but that doesn't mean you know Shakespeare. Like, Shakespeare's not about the lines. Shakespeare's about the pace, the timing, the characterizations, the moments that he does these things. So, very nice, Kill. Very nice. Oh, I've heard good things about that. I haven't read that, Jedi. Oh, God, right, Mirinda? So true. So true. That is 100% true. I teach Shakespeare every year on the college level, and I'm always teaching courses. Now, some of them are basics, like, you know, Richard III and things like that, but I don't teach, even though Hamlet's my favorite play, I don't teach Hamlet in that class. I do teach Lear, which is one of the greatest plays ever written. I teach The Winter's Tale, which is, I think Winter's Tale is very underrated. It's a great romance. The Tempest, obviously, which is a brilliant romance. Everyone always does Midsummer Night's Dream. I don't think that's nearly as good. I think it's fine, but I don't think it's nearly as good as Twelfth Night. But like, man, you know, it kills me that like that's all we ever do. Like Romeo and Juliet and Julius Caesar. Like, come on, man. Those are fine, but like let's stretch out a little bit. How about some Measure for Measure? Measure for Measure is a great play. You know? Oh, between Shakespeare and Poe? Nice. Hamlet is just, I adore Hamlet. And I do teach Hamlet every year in my Revenge Tragedy class. Because, interestingly, Hamlet, I really think, is an anti-revenge tragedy. It's often considered to be the most sort of the greatest revenge tragedy, but I actually think it's an anti-revenge tragedy in a lot of ways. But I adore Hamlet. Absolutely adore it. And Twelfth Night is great too. Oh, sorry, Nonstop, but Melos, I think everyone was on board. Okay, so we suggest Melos. Lovely. Here we go. To Melos, the fair honey isle you travel, and the sea is placid, calm as the treetops on a summer's day when the wind does not blow. No sea monsters from Poseidon's realm trouble you, and in 2 days the ship has reached the isle. The sailors disembark, and even those destined for death in the labyrinth seem strangely cheered. Herds of brown-speckled cattle graze in the grassy fields, and birds wheel overhead. Vines grow wild in the countryside, and the sun is warming but not hot. Do you eat some of the grapes? Do you search for some honey? Or do you join with the other sailors to try to catch and kill a cow? You know what, Dragon? It ought to be more of a tragedy than some people think it is. But some people think that it's got sort of like an adventure tone to it, and it's intriguing for that reason, and it is intriguing for that reason. But it's intriguing also because of what it says about us. Oh, Malvolio. Oh, 12th Night. 12th Night is so good. I actually, one of my songs, actually, my outro song, you guys know Fly Away? Oh, yes, we're gonna fly away from here. That song that I play at the end of every show. There's a line in there, understood when all your acts were queens. When all your acts were queens, understood all that it means. Actually, so all your acts are queens comes from The Winter's Tale, but one of the inspirations for those lines came originally from 12th Night. So 12th Night was the inspiration, and then the actual line itself came from Winter's Tale. So I know, right? Right, Dunsel? Like, you kill a cow, you're gonna piss somebody off, but then you eat a grape, you're gonna piss probably like Dionysus off or something. Well, probably you want to aim for the plants if you want to avoid pissing people off more than the animals, I would guess. But, you know, who knows? That's why people are voting for honey, because they're like, I don't think there's a god of the bees, is there? I have not seen these, so I don't know. Like I say, this is I'm coming to this fresh. Alcoholicus, god of grapes. God of grapes, I will always be god of grapes. No bear god to piss off. Yeah, Thorg. You know what, man? Bethesda music. I mean, I gotta say the Elder Scrolls music. It's pretty good, man. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, so we've got 4 for search for some honey, 2 for eat some of the grapes. No one wants to kill a cow. I think everyone's nervous about that. So we'll throw a last call up there. Cromwell Spreadman or Paddington Bear. Man, when I was a kid, Dunsel, I had a Paddington, and I left, and I loved it when I was a little kid. I had a stuffed animal Paddington, and I left him at a hotel. And I realized that I had left it, and I was so freaked out, and I was like so sad that my parents got me another Paddington because they knew that it was one of those things where like I had worn the Paddington to death, you know, because I had like, you know, had him in bed with me every night and like was constantly, you know, hugging him. It was like when I was like 4 years old or something, or 5. And but then what happened was, so I got cousin Paddington, I got another Paddington, and then this box arrived in the mail, and it was a box that had literally holes that had been cut in the sides, and inside was like on a bed of tissue paper was Paddington, and there was a note saying, I am the housekeeper who cleaned your room. I found this, and I figured you probably wouldn't want to lose it. I was like, that woman right there has got to be a mom. It's got to be a mom. Because who else does that? Like, who would actually go out of their way? And clearly the holes were like sort of like for air, you know what I mean? It was pretty cool. It was really sweet. Yeah, it was really, really nice. That was a long time ago, too. It's like late 70s customer service right there. Yeah, isn't that cool? Dunsel, it was unbearable. Yes. I thought they were going to put me in a Paddington cell. Hey-o! Oh, man. Yeah, freaking awesome. Right? That woman deserved... Yeah. Oh, yeah. The world needs more people like that. Exactly. Exactly. Well, it's all about paying it forward, you know what I'm saying? It really is. It's about treating people kindly. And if you treat people kindly, that stuff will come around to you. My parents couldn't believe it. They were like, wow. I'm pretty sure my dad called up and thanked her personally. I'm pretty sure. I seem to remember that happened, but like I say, I was just beside myself. So then I had 2 Paddingtons. I had Paddington and I had Cousin Paddington. I think I still actually have in a box in my garage my stuffed animals, and I think I may still have that Paddington somewhere. A couple of the stuffed animals went to my daughter, And she has a lot of stuffed animals herself. And there is actually one stuffed animal that I have always kept and probably will always keep, and it's an elephant, a gingham elephant that I had from the time I was a baby. Literally, it was in my crib with me. And then I used it for, it was like a pillow. And I used it for so long that it got broken down and kind of broken up. And so my mother reformed, basically took the old material and like recycled it and rebuilt it and stuff. She's a great sewer and a knitter and stuff, and crocheting and quilter and stuff. And she made me a new elephant. And then it broke down again, and this time she made an elephant with like a pillowcase. And so this last time, you know, obviously my mother is gone some years now, and so it was breaking down again. So my wife, a couple of years ago, because by this point my daughter was old enough, my wife actually, I think this is really cool, she didn't tell me she was going to do this, but she took the old pillowcase, which had, remember, some of the original elephant material, and she put that inside and stuffed a brand new elephant. She went to like Bed Bath & Beyond, or one of the sewing places. I can't remember, like Joann's Crafts and Fabrics. I don't remember. Anyway, Joann Fabrics, I think. And she went and she got the same kind of gingham, and she stuffed the new elephant with that stuffing and with the pillowcase with the original elephant material. And while she was doing that, my daughter had wanted a matching pillow, so we got another elephant in a different color of gingham and then made both of them. So now basically both the pillows lie side by side on their bed, like mine and my daughter's. Elephantception. Yeah. I gotta get him on stream. I do. Was it named Bobo? I should get, here, I'm gonna show you guys the elephant. Hold on. And then we'll keep going. I apologize. We're getting distracted a lot today, but there's all interesting stuff. I'll show you the elephant. Hang on. Okay. So, I can't get the other pillow because my daughter is currently sleeping on it, but this was my elephant. I had this elephant. I had this elephant when I was, so like I say, when I was a baby, right? And so inside this elephant, this new elephant which my wife made, inside this elephant is the like leftover pillowcase of the previous elephant. So like there's 1972 material in the middle of this, right? And what I love about it, always loved about this, was the ears, because basically that's how you close over the eyes, right? You know? It was the coolest thing. It gives you the side eye. Yeah. Oh man. I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, I just thought it was really cool that my daughter wanted one like it, and so they have like these two. It's like creating a new tradition. I like traditions. I like traditions like that. I like sort of things that go full circle. I've often found in my life that when things are going well, there's a sort of there's a cycle of redemption. There's a feeling like you come back to the beginning and things sort of close off in a nice way. So that thing with the elephant with me and my daughter was kind of like that. So yeah, and it really is a cool. Yeah, it was really kind of a neat, separate like little thing. It was just a silly little thing, but you know, it was cool. Yeah. Happy memories, man. Life is founded upon our memories. Our memories make us who we are, and both good and bad. So, all right. So search for some honey. I apologize for all the distractions tonight, but been having fun. Okay, search for some honey. Indeed. Here we go. Stung by what seems like a multitude of bees, you decide that the honey is not worth the price that all-seeing Zeus has decreed you must pay. You can either go back to the ship and await to cast off from Melos, or you could attempt with some of the other sailors to kill one of the cows. So go back to the ship or kill a cow. Yeah. Yep. Yes, indeed, Mort. They definitely seem to be setting you up. They're like, hey, do you want to kill a cow now? How about you want to kill it? You want to kill one now? How about now? How about now? How about now? Must get meat. You're one of those ones, right, Sir Tiffy? You're just like, but it's grass-fed beef. Okay. Yep. That's exactly right, Hydra. That's exactly right. I think those things are really important. You know, when people talk about this idea that, like, you know, like you want to get rid of that stuff and you want to, you know, why? You know, like you have an old, like, really valuable book, you know, that you read when you were a kid, and then people are just like, well, you got to get rid of that book because you've grown up. Why? The hell you have to give it? Why? It connects you to a time. We as human beings are both present creatures and creatures of our past, right? Like, our present is defined by our past. When you separate yourself that clearly from your past, where you don't even want to remember something that brought you joy, you've lost the plot. Now, that doesn't mean that things that bring you sadness and hurt, I don't think you should keep those things around necessarily. But if you have something that brought you joy, who the hell cares if you had it when you were a kid? Like, my favorite is grown people who will just be like, I don't know why you're reading that book's for babies, or why are you keeping a stuffed animal around? But then they'll go freaking play Pokemon Go and get, like, Jigglypuffs and Rattatas, and, like, what we need in the world, honestly, just general statement, less judgment. We all do it. I do it to myself. I sometimes do it to other people. We need to judge people a lot less. A lot less. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be willing to say what we think is right and wrong and call someone out on those sort of stances. But we need to do a lot less of sort of like, this thing is wrong because of this, so I'm going to judge you, and I judge you for this, and I judge you for that. Stop judgment. Stop the judgment of yourself, too, by the way. Stop being like, blah, 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 blah. Stop the judgment. Jesus. I just... Let people, you know, live and let live. God. And, you know, and if you see other people, you know, and again, that doesn't mean that you can't be allowed to have an opinion, or if people are saying something that's wrong, to stand up and say, I don't think that's right, and to stand up for what you think is right. I'm not saying you should, like, not ever have opinions. Just be less sort of, you know, why do you like that game? That's stupid. Why do you like that thing? That's stupid. Like, just good God, stop the judgment. Yeah, hashtag stop the judgment. And you know, when it happens, it's mostly because these people are doing it to themselves. Like, they're doing it 10 times worse to themselves than they are to other people. Yeah, of course, it's fine. I don't think, and that's the thing, you can broaden your field, right? So I talk all the time about how, like, you know, like Thundercats was, I watched Thundercats when I was a kid, and Voltron. Do I still only watch those? No. I watched a lot of other stuff, and I don't watch Thundercats anymore, but it had an effect on my childhood, and that's fine. And, like, and I still watch them once in a while, and I'm like, oh, I remember this is cool. You know, like, this nonsense that somehow you can't enjoy the things you enjoyed as a kid is ridiculous. I think if you never broaden out, if you never read anything else, if all you ever read is like Superman comics, well then that's a problem, because I think you need to broaden your horizons. But the idea that you should stop reading those things is nonsense. Yeah, judgmental. Found my own museum. Yeah, okay. All right, so we're tied. Go back to the... Really? We're tied? Right. Well, that's why I wanted to make the distinction. So we need someone to break this tie, by the way, folks. That's why I wanted to make the distinction between if someone's doing something that you believe is wrong, you certainly have the right to say that. You certainly have the right to stand up for it. I don't like the people that are like, well, I don't want to ever say anything to anybody about anything. You know, like Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, which is a famous short story. If you guys haven't read it, you should. I remember I read an article once about a class that refused to say that what happens in that story was wrong. And all I'll say is you'll read it and you know what I mean. Come on, like what happens in the story is straight up wrong, okay? So I don't like that kind of moral relativism where you're just sort of like, well, who am I to say? You're a human being, okay? But that doesn't mean you have to be judgmental about simple choices, you know what I mean? So that's the deal. Okay, all right, we will go back to the ship. Despite Sir Tifi's desire for burgers, we are going to go back to the ship. All right, and guess what happens when you go back to the ship? You die instantly. No. Have 2 honor points. So you get 2 more honor points. Check out that honor boost now. All right, here we go. Away from the island of Melos you sail, the oarsmen straining in their places, for there is no wind. The journey to Thera will be hard, and you lie for a day and a night in your hammock, racked by some strange fever. In your dreams, sent perhaps from Olympus, all the folk you have met glide strangely past. Aegeus, Medea, the captain, your patron, all merging into the hideous laughing face of the Minotaur. You dash aloft, your fever broken, only to see the Isle of Thera lying in the distance, its cliffs reflecting the sunlight like a jewel and casting an unearthly glow. You disembark on Thera, which, despite its appearance from afar, seems a gloomy place. You have not been traveling for long when you see a strange sight. A woman on a golden throne is sitting beneath the cliff. Let's see. Actually, do I have this? Ah, I do have this. I do have this picture. Let me show you exactly what you guys see. Hang on a moment. Music is so good. Okay, here we go. There is what you see. Oh, sorry, Jay. You disembark on Thera, which, despite its appearance from afar, seems a gloomy place. You have not been traveling for long when you see a strange sight. A woman on a golden throne is sitting beneath the cliff. Beside her is a proud warrior bearing a mighty shafted spear, and standing alongside him is a lame man, dressed in the apron of a blacksmith, bearing a hammer of black metal. As fast as the thunder flash that comes from Zeus, the cliff begins to crumble. "Save us," the figures cry in unison. You are the closest and have time to save only one. Do you try to save the gold-throned woman, the lame blacksmith, or the mighty warrior? Now, think about your mythology, people. Interesting spelling of throne. Alright, who are you going to save?
I believe with persistent discipline, even the poorest student can end up becoming, say, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. What great men he would join. John Marshall, Charles Evans Hughes, Warren Burger. Burger.
That's funny, Thorg. Ah, ha ha ha. Someone has remembered who Hephaestus is. I did watch the new Rogue One trailer. Yes, I did, Jedi, and it looks pretty badass. I have to say that although I know there is a Jedi, there's Jedi stuff in there, I'm kind of I like the Jedi a lot, so I kind of was... The fact that the focus here will not be on the Jedi so much as it makes it a little disappointing to me, but it still looks amazing. It looks cool and yeah, it looks pretty sweet. It'll be pretty awesome. Yeah. You'll have Darth Vader. Who's the guy who plays her mentor, the one with the silver hair, the black guy with the silver hair? Is that Idris Elba? It's not, right? Or no, it's Forrest Whitaker, isn't it? It's Forrest Whitaker, right? Is it Forrest Whitaker, I believe? I think it's Forrest Whitaker, right? Ewoks are riot. It's Forrest Whitaker? Nice. You know, I have to say, I don't know how many of you saw the movie The Crying Game, or you know, the deal with the crying... I mean, you know the deal with The Crying Game, but I have to be honest, the opening 30 minutes or so of The Crying Game is amazing, and I think it's actually better than the rest of the film, and Forrest Whitaker is in that part, I'm pretty sure, and does an amazing job with it. Yeah, it's from a very different time, Mort. A very different time. Crying Game's a good movie. I mean, it's a good movie regardless, like the whole movie is. But that opening sequence, man, is really good. It's good stuff. Yeah, I mean, its mythology is coming from a very different time and sort of frame of reference. Yeah, but that whole sequence, that whole opening sequence, Dragon, I was just like, the whole opening sequence is amazing. All right, let us close this poll because it seems like people are doing the lame blacksmith because you remembered who Hephaestus is. Okay. At very peril of your life, you push through the hail of stones to reach the blacksmith. You close your eyes to protect them against the rain of death-dealing dust. When you open them again, the rock fall has ceased, and the cliff stands black and brooding as ever. The lame man stands smiling, and you can see him more clearly now. He wears a pointed cap and bears a hammer with which he strokes his great brown beard. His ashen gray tunic does not cover his right shoulder. I greet you. His voice, he booms, his voice like the rumbling of a volcano. You have chosen well, and I will reward you. He turns, and for a moment you see in the rock a great workshop shining like the stars, with an anvil and a multitude of bellows blowing like the great storms that break the hollow ships and send the crews to their doom. Then, just as swiftly, the scene vanishes. In his arm, he bears a breastplate, shield, and sword. Oh, thank you for the host, Earth. Thank you for the host, Earth Machine. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, dude. Welcome in, man. Thank you so much for the host. Then, just as swiftly the scene vanishes. In his arm he bears a breastplate, shield, and sword. He hands them to you, and they shine in the sunlight like the sun come to earth, plain worked but stronger than death. You take these divine gifts and marvel, but as you do, the god is gone back to his celestial workshop. These weapons are divine work and are therefore mighty indeed. Normally, the breastplate is protection 4, the shield protection 4, and the sword might 4. But when fighting divine or divinely built creatures, all values are at 6, not 4. Such creatures are marked in the text with an asterisk before their might value. You are in favor with Hephaestus. So, check this out, alright? So, to be clear, what that means is, so you guys get a sword, and we're going to have to get rid of the previous sword. So you're going to get rid of this sword. Or actually, what I want to get rid of is your spear. Because you can't carry all this stuff. So, you can only carry one of each type. So Divine Sword. Might 4. 0. Then we've got the breastplate. Sorry, the shield. Let's do that next. Thank you for the follow, Chromaticat. Again, cool names. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Arvanauts. The Divine Shield. Might 0. Protection 4. And then we've got the breastplate. So we gotta get rid of that shield. Divine breastplate. This is pretty accurate. Oh, jeez, Jedi. Yes, there's some truth to that. Divine breastplate, which is also might 0. Protection 4. So you put all that together, and what that means, guys, is that you now have a might of 8, and you now have a protection of 19. You have protection of 19. This is what happens when you have your boy Hephaestus helping you out. This is what happens. And, even better news, is that you are in favor with Hephaestus. You guys are in favor with 2 of the H's, just not Hecate. Badass, yeah. Freaking epic. That's one where you come back to the ship, right? You come back to the ship and the people are like, the people are watching you, right? Like you come back to the ship and the sailors come on and you're like, that's where you need Dat Sheffy, like no jokes. You know what I'm saying? Hephaestus is the bestest, yeah. That's where you need like a bunch of, man, like you just do not mess around. Okay, we are going to give that a save point right there. Because that was pretty epic. Okay, so 495 is your save point. All right. All right, sounds good. Thanks, Sutifi. Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, thanks, EKG. That's correct. And, so it's might 6 against divine creatures. All values are at 6. Yeah, I forgot about that. So against divine creatures... Okay, and protection 4. So when you're fighting a divine creature, your protection is 23 and your might is 10. You have 10 might and 23 protection. So you have so you have 10 might and 23 protection when you're fighting divine creatures. No joke. So you just walk back to this. Yeah, so I mean, how would you walk onto the ship and you're just like, and you'd have to like tell someone about it, wouldn't you? You'd have to be like, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to let my divine shield fall right in front of you. Let me just pick that up and polish it carefully. Oh, please don't get too close. You might accidentally hit my divine sword. Here, I'll move it out of the way so it doesn't hit you. Oh, and while you're doing that, if you need to look in my divine breastplate, feel free to do so to comb your hair if you wish. You know? No, divine creatures are not any mythical creature. They're creatures that are created by or connected to the gods in some ways. So this is not, you know, you'll see. So there's certain creatures where that will be the case. Okay. The mighty masted ship is now prepared for the long sail from Thera to Crete. The captain pours a libation of red wine into the waters, praying to great Poseidon for safe passage. The wind, which starts strong so that the ship can sail under its doom-black sails, bearing its blood cargo to Crete, soon builds up to a storm. Okay, Poseidon is neutral towards you. Roll a die. You may expend this number of honor points in a prayer to Poseidon. Otherwise, you face the churning sea without a prayer to the ocean god. Okay, so I need you to roll one 6-sided die, Dragon. That's the number of honor points you'll be using as a prayer to Poseidon as you have this storm. Yeah, I guess in mythology that would be the case, Dragon, but in the book, I think it sort of specifies. There are some creatures that wouldn't be the case. Like, some creatures also probably were created from, like, I don't know, divine creatures are sort of more directly connected. Like I think a Pegasus, for example, would be more divinely connected. Or maybe even Kerberos, right? The three-headed dog, because that's directly connected to Hades. But, so. 6. Okay. Well, that was a lot of points. All right. You spend 6 points. We go to 424. The wind blows into a gale, and the ship is tossed from side to side. The masts are stripped of their black cloth sails, which are thrown into the sea, and then they too are splintered like the stockade before the coming of the angry boar, its mouth foaming, its eyes wild as the stormy seas. The ship is beaten down by the fury of the waves, and all aboard fear for their lives. You may sacrifice... the first one is not, Mirinda. The first one, the first vote is the honor is set. Like, you have to use the honor points. This one I'm about to give you is a choice, but the first one is not a choice. The tiny ship was not for the courage of the fearless crew. The minnow would be lost. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. So, you may sacrifice 2 more honor points to Poseidon, or you may trust in your own ability to ride out the waves. So, the storm is still really bad, by the way. So, you may sacrifice 2 more honor points to Poseidon, and you have the points to do it, or you may trust in your own ability to ride out the waves. But like I said, it is a bad storm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys did a good job, I have to say, in building up honor points to be able to sustain this. So, you guys got a lot of honor points, and it's all, you're getting to use it now. So, I mean, know, in a way, this is exactly the sorts of things you use it for, in a way. Okay. The survivors write the tales. Whoa, whoa, I'm still alive. True. The question is, are you avoiding hubris as you do it? That is the key. Okay, last call. Got that last call going on. Don't fail me, Gilligan. All right. And play too many rogues. Okay. So, sacrifice 2 more honor points. You still got a point. Got 1 point left over, so you still got a shot. Okay. Storm battered and sea stained, bruised by the relentless swell, you lose hold of your possessions. You lose 1 piece of armor of your choice, 1 weapon, and 1 other item from your sheet, chronicle sheet, which must not be armor or weapons. So I'm going to say the sword. This is why I put this back on, because the sword I forgot you should actually leave on there for this very reason. So the sword. And then also I'm going to get rid of the shield because the breastplate actually is better than the shield. So basically that's, you know. There we go. But you need to lose 1 other item, which is not a weapon. So here are the items that you guys have. You've got, you can't lose a weapon. Let me just make sure, not a weapon or armor, right? You may not lose the documents for Minos. Right, you may not lose the documents for Minos or anything of Antiope's. So the only things that you have that you could lose would be the Mother's Gem or the jeweled brooch. You cannot sacrifice the club. This can't be... That can't be in armor because we don't have the club anymore. You had to get rid of that. You couldn't carry that many extra weapons, basically. So, so you have to lose 1 other item, which must not be armor or weapons. Lose Hera's favor, yeah. So basically, if this is the alternative, Marinda would have been that you would have lost like, I think it's like 4 or something like that, 4 or 5 items. Like you would have basically you would have lost all of your if you hadn't done that, you would have lost all of your weapons. So like instead of choosing 1, you would have lost all of them. Basically. But you can't sacrifice the axe because it's a weapon. So either the Mother's Gem or the jeweled brooch. Those are your 2 options. Do we have a general consensus on the Mother's Gem? Yep. It would have been bad. You would have lost. I was really... I looked it up while you guys were deciding, and I'm like, oh, God. Mother's Gem. Yeah, it seems to make the most sense. You can't lose the jeweled brooch because you're going to need that. So... Real heroes fight barehanded. Real heroes use only their fist. Alright, you got all the divine stuff. Okay. So, alrighty. On we go. Man, sea travel. Am I right? For 7 days and 7 nights the storm rages and you are blown hopelessly off course. Without rest the captain strives to keep his ship afloat. The wood of the prow splinters and is gone. The chest containing Aegeus' gifts to Minos, statuettes of the gods carved in gold and silver, is swept overboard. Only the will of Zeus keeps the vessel above the whirling waters while the minions of Poseidon do their best to batter it. You remain below decks, no good sailor, your very life seeming to seep away as the ship rises and falls. At long last, when you had almost forgotten that great ocean Poseidon's realm had bounds, the cry goes up that land is in sight, and it is Cythera, Aphrodite's island. O Cythera, you are fairer by far than the finest flower of Aegeus' garden in the realm of Attica, bedecked in summer's finery, while the breath of the fair goddess soothes all it touches, all is peace. Yet even in gardens there is a place where a tall cypress casts its shadows, and nothing may grow. You hear shouts and screams. You notice a small boat driven against the life-rending rocks at the beach's edge. A woman shouts out in distress and mortal danger. Now, this one is giving you the option to take a hint. So in other words, the number is italicized. So, you have 3 choices. Take the hint. Try to save the woman. Don't risk the rocks, go short a meter. Okay. I don't know, man. If it wasn't for that ship captain, you guys might not be here. Wouldn't be having this conversation. All right. You gonna take the hint? Jump in and save the woman, or go ashore to meet her? Alright, we got 5 in favor of jumping in to save the woman, 2 for taking the hint, and 0 for don't risking the rocks, go ashore. Anyone else? Alright, I last called it, so... Okay. Here we go. So, here's the thing. You know the problem when you jump into water? You guys know, like, you know, if you're swimming, there is one limitation to swimming, and it's the kind of thing when you have some armor on you. Armor and water don't really mix. So, weighed down by armor and a coil of rope you thought to grab as you plunged into the sea, you sink. You gasp and struggle, frantically trying to free yourself. Above the rushing of the water, you hear the laughter of the captain, crew, and 14 Athenians. In your distress, you are relieved when someone grasps hold of you and pulls you out from the death-bringing waves. To your embarrassment, it is the woman who was in the boat. She has steered it away from the rocks to come and rescue you. Have a shame point. Well, you have got yourself wet, haven't you? Said the woman, grooming her hair. It was a nice thought, though. Goodbye now, and better luck next time, you silly thing. In the flutter of an eyelash, she is gone, and the realization comes to you that this was Aphrodite, goddess of beauty. Right, yeah. He swims just fine. Wanted to be a hero. Wondering at the will of the gods, you wander along the sands of Cythera looking for a spot to rest while the ship is repaired. You will need to build a shelter from the plentiful branches and remains of earlier wrecks. The crew is busy with the ship, and the young men and maidens, avoiding both you and the captain, have gone in the opposite direction. You were alone, therefore, when you see a man dressed in oil-stained rags, his hair white, eyes wild, and beard unkempt. Not so much, dragon. He too catches sight of you and runs along the strand towards you. Too stunned to react, you do not move, and the old man, perhaps a native of these parts, perhaps a survivor of some wreck, begins to rant incoherently. Do you attack him in case he becomes violent, or do you stay and try to understand what he is saying? Indeed, Mort. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Right, exactly. He didn't want to be... I think it's a combination of both is what happens, Hydra. What's up, Glob? How you doing, man? Yeah, I know. Welcome. I'm happy you're enjoying your gainful employment. Pretty much, it's exact... Marindus, which means that we're right on course, pretty much. Half the gods love us, half the gods hate us, half the gods think we're dumb. That pretty much sums it up. What was I going to say? Yeah, and you don't have free hints, but you do have a benefit on the hints because Athena means you're being your patron, means that we don't lose any honor, but you might have shame. Could happen, so. Stay a while and listen. I sense a soul in search of answers. Yep. Yep. Looks like people want to stay with it with Deckard. Looks like they are interested in sticking around with Deckard Cain. Deckard Cain. Now all of a sudden I'm thinking about the introduction to Mortal Kombat. Kano. Volcano. What did my wife just say? Go. All right. And I think that's pretty definitive. So we're going to close this poll. We're going to stay and try to understand him. All right. A gift! A gift! Shrieks the wild man with unholy glee, picking small insects out of his beard and squashing them between his fingers. You find that most of your possessions are on the ship, but you could give him some food, a piece of armor, a weapon, or nothing. So, what should we give him? I'm going to use the extra U like they do. What should we give him, folks? Food, armor, weapon, or nothing? Kano. Kip Kano is a great middle distance runner, really. You do. You have a breastplate. Yes. So you could give him an axe, you could give him a breastplate, you could give him food. You do. You've got a spare weapon, you got a spare breastplate, and you have spare food, of course. The extra U like it's supposed to be done. The unnecessary U. I'm sure it's fine. What would a nutcase do with a weapon? I can't... Oh man, it's funny. Oh my god. There's an entry in here that I just read. That's entry 421. That says, "Shame on you, Altheus, for reading this paragraph to which you cannot have been sent. Have 15 shame points. Go back to where you came from." Because there's no way to get there because it's not connected to a paragraph. So if someone's just reading through, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to read every entry." 421. Oh crap, 15 shame. Like, it's really funny. It's like, ha, take that. All right, let's last call this up. 15 shame. Exactly. The darkness may not be... Do not seek to know what is not for mankind to know. Do not seek to know what we do not know. Alright, last call, last call. Alright, let's close it up. Alright, so a weapon it is. You hand over your weapon uncertainly, and the wise man tosses it to the ground. "What need of weapons have I?" he shrieks, "who know the future's vast panorama? Beneath the waves your truest weapon's use does lie." With this he laughs maniacally, rolls over twice in a muddy pond, and crawls away into the bush with speed belying his state. You sigh, pick up your weapon, and walk back towards the ship. Have an honor point. Okay, get an honor point. Not too bad. He was like, screw your axe, but you still got an honor point. And here we go. The opposite of north. Yes. Okay. It is now several days since your arrival at Cythera. The ship is as well prepared as the captain can manage with the materials available. Reluctant to risk his vessel, yet spurred on by the responsibility of the task he has undertaken, he decides to set sail once more. The remnants of the sail are hoisted, and they flutter like great black crows in the breeze. As you get underway, the captain entertains you with stories of Talos, the great bronze man of Crete, who walks round the island 3 or 4 times a day, attacking all those who mean Crete harm. Sometimes it preys on shipping, but no Cretan could kill it, nor would want to. Crete is not far, and soon you will be at the court of King Minos. Okay, now, do you want to take... There is an option to take a hint here. Do you wish to take the hint, or just keep going? Do we take the hint, or do we go on here? Honor point and a tip. Yeah, theoretically. Yeah. Alright, so we have keep going, we have take the hint. No official poll on this one, just sense a chat. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So 3 for keep going, 2 for the hint. Ralphone says keep going. Ekeg says take the hint. I think Ekeg already said take the hint. So, Ekeg really wants to take the hint, but it still only counts as 1. Still only counts as 1. Alright, so I read there's more keep goings than there are people for take the hint. So, we will continue to go. It is now just before noon. High overhead, the sun seems to set the very sea aflame. The ship is coming closer to the Cretan land. At the very edge of the horizon, one of the Athenian girls thinks she can make out the shoreline. And here again, guys, you have a choice to take a hint. So here you have a choice to take a hint, again, as you can see the shoreline. So are you going to take the hint here or not? So the previous one you did not. Are you going to take one here is the question. Yeah, but it was still one more, I think, that was no hint as opposed to hint. It was close, Jay, but I saw that. But let's see what we say this time. Take hint, take hint. Take the hint. Can we take the Athenian girl? The Athenian girl's on the boat already, Dunsil, so you're all good. Take the flamin' hint. Hint, hint, hint. Dragon says no hint. So we got hint, 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 hint. So we got 4 hints to no hints. 5 hints to no to 1 hints. Well, you took her with you. You take her in the biblical sense. Okay, so you guys are going to take the hint. Talos is nowhere to be seen, and you realize that he must come upon you from the west, so that to move into the shore with an easterly slant would give you a better chance of avoiding him. Just as you confide your heaven-sent insight to the captain, the earth beneath the sea begins to tremble. The very fish in their seaweed-covered realm can feel the shock. Talos comes. You look to the west, and there, towering above the cliffs, is Talos, perhaps 200 feet tall. Yet he is too far away to destroy the ship with his brazen arms. Instead, he casts rocks at you. There will be time for 5 rounds of combat, and the only weapons you have which will reach that far are a supply of the captain's harpoons. These ones actually are not 3, these are 2. Might 2, Protection 0. Talos is Might 14, Protection 18, and the rocks are counted as Might 0. So there's some good news, bad news about this situation. The good news is that, or the bad news is that Talos is really powerful. 14 might and protection 18. And because you can't use your weapons here except for the harpoon, it means you've only got a skill of 13. The good news, however, is that this is a divine creature, which means that you can use your full up protection against him. So you have got a protection of 19 against his attacks. And you're trying to basically hit him 3 times or survive 5 rounds of combat, basically. So it is indeed a divine. You have to get the Altheus out of there. It is indeed a divine. But unfortunately, you can't use your weapons against him, just your armor. So, Dragon, whenever you are ready then, sir, you've got a effective might of 8. So 8, and you've got to hit him with protection 18. So you need to roll a 10, 11, or 12 on 2 dice to wound him. Kick his ascius. There you go. A 10. That will hit him. He is wounded. All right. Now he's going to throw his rocks at you. So he's got a skill of 14. You've got a protection of 19. So he needs to roll a 5 higher to hit you. He rolls a 7. So he does hit you. Okay. Next roll. Both of you wounded. You rolled a 10 again. Oh my goodness. Okay, he's seriously wounded. You've hit him twice. You've also, let's see, rounds of combat. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 rounds of combat are over, and you've hit him twice. Your loaded dice. Okay, now again, he needs a 5 to hit. Needs a 5 to hit you. He gets a 9. Okay, seriously wounded. I know, exactly right. Alright, so now unfortunately, both of you are seriously wounded, so you can still roll 2 dice. Alright, Dragon. You gotta roll 2 dice again to try to hit him the 3rd time. Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right. I take that back. You're 100% correct. You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. And he doesn't hit you. Absolutely right. I forgot about that. My bad. Completely correct. He got a 1, which is not enough to hit you. Yep, absolutely right. My bad. My bad. You're right. So go ahead and attack him. Go ahead and attack him again. My bad. Exactly right. I completely forgot. Yep, good call, Dragon. He's like, oh, with his rocks. Oh, only a 5. Let's see. A 5 I don't think is going to get it done. A 5 is not going to get it done. However, you will be happy to know that we have now had 5 rounds of combat. You are now out of range of Talos's boulders and can sail towards Crete. As you make for the coast, you see that the bronze giant has caught a foot on the seabed and fallen over. That was the benefit of going that way. Leaving the figure of Talos stretched out on the shallow floor of the sea where he has fallen, you proceed on to Crete. The sun shines dimmer now, partly hidden by clouds of a strange greenish hue. One of the sailors shouts, and the others take up the cry. You rush to the bow, and then even you, amicable Altheus, can see it. And here is what you guys see. There we go. This is good music for this, actually. This is what you guys see. Crete, let's see. You rush to the bow, and then even you, amicable Altheus, can see it. No longer just a word to you, Crete in all her savage beauty fills the horizon. The 7 youths and 7 maidens stand in silence, apprehensive of their fate. And you, Altheus, are not immune from the chill hand clutching at their hearts. You have come far and traversed lands that few who are not heroes would have dared. You think of your mother, Aethra, so far away in Trozen, whom you left so long ago. Your trials have been many. The journey to Athens, the war against the Amazons, the voyage, the sea serpent, Thera, Cythera, and most recent of all, the grim, high-towering Talos, killer of all things mortal, crusher of beauty, scourge of Attic youth. Your journey is over. Your quest has just begun. The adventure continues in At the Court of King Minos. Book concluded. Good job, people. You made it through. You have gotten to the island of Crete. And that is where you will continue next time. And by the way, in case you're curious, you win. You did it. And that is going to be your next book, guys. At the Court of King Minos. Next month. That is going to be the next one. At the Court of King Minos, baby. So that's a good question. I want to see if your stuff does carry over. Let me see if it does. Blarbita, Blarbita, Blue. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You start the adventure with the pieces of equipment marked on your chronicle sheet. So you do carry it over. You do carry it over, which actually means I need to mark something down. I'm going to mark that down right now. Yeah, so it carries over. It's pretty awesome. I don't think we've had that before. We do have some carryover, I think, with the Sorcery series that I played at the very beginning when we started this out, which I think are the best of the game books. But I don't know if you carry over your honor and your shame and all that kind of stuff. But you do carry over your equipment, so that means I can actually save this, like so. Lovely. They don't know our shame there. Fighting fantasy books are sneaky. Yeah, this is great. This is great. I thought this was. I don't know how you guys felt about it. I loved this game book. I thought this was really great. A lot of really good writing. There are a lot of really interesting writing. It felt very thematic. You know, sometimes the fighting fantasy game books don't always nail the theme as much as they could. But this is great. I think it nailed the theme straight on. So this did a really good job. It was hard, but you know, you guys managed. And now all you have to do is take down a Minotaur. No big deal. It's no problem. But you guys did a great job, and yeah, that was pretty freaking epic, guys. We managed it and did very well. I thought it was too, right, Dunsel? I really like this one a lot. It's a 3-person authorship, too. It was John Butterfield, David Honigman, and Philip Parker. And it was the Cretan Chronicles. They only did 3 of these, but you know, that they're all sort of linked together. So it was neat. It was really cool. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did as well. And yeah, and here we are with our guy that we'll be coming back to actually for a future book. So that was pretty awesome. The other good thing about this is that it gave us time to be able to put together nominations, which is exactly what we're going to do. So what I would like you guys, you wonderful people, to do is it's time now for nominations. Oh, my pleasure. I love doing this. I know, and you only died 3 times. Well, the one time with Zeus also. Okay, so what I'm going to ask for you guys is, let me pop up Arvbot here. Okay, so what I'm going to ask for you guys is, you may remember that I talked about the fact that I'm going to be on the road starting this Wednesday, and I'll be on the road until Sunday. I'll be coming back Sunday evening, this coming Wednesday to next Sunday, because I'm going to be at Worldcon in Kansas City. So I will have Arvbox with me. But while I am at Arvbox, or while I have Arvbox with me, obviously I don't have my full sort of laid out rig. So what I'm going to ask is, I'm going to do nominations now for the Patreon fueled chat chosen game of the month. But what I would like you guys to do is, as you're doing nominations, I would like you to be thinking about games that I would be able to play on the road. In other words, you know, no virtual console games, okay? Because I'm not going to be able to bring my Wii U with me. No retro games that I would need to use my Retron for. Shovel Knight that I played last month was awesome. That I actually played that on Arvbox. That's fine. But anything that's like, you know, super... I mean, the Arvbox is pretty decent, is a good rig, but... You know, anything that's going to be like super like taxing on the CPU or whatever might not be as doable. I'll avoid them, Jedi. I'll just dodge left and right, ninja style. So I am going to ask. Let's see. Should Arv play this month? And I reserve the right to veto if need be. So what I'm going to do is I will put in the first of 6 nominations that I see. So the first 6 nominations. FTL. Okay, Cyrillium 2. Never heard of that one. Sadly, no. Day of the Tentacle Remastered. Okay. What else we got? See, Breath of Fire I'm going to veto because I can't play that when I'm on the way. What's up, West River Rat? So I got to veto Breath of Fire nonstop. Sorry, man. Stardew Valley. Okay. And Master of Orion 2. Lee Carvalho's putting challenge. Let's see. Let's go. All right, Master of Orion 2. Those are good choices. Discworld game, a little bit too non-specific. I'll have to think about that next time. Jedi Academy is okay. Neverwinter Nights 2 I like, but I probably will end up playing that at some point anyway, especially Mask of the Betrayer, which I never finished. Necropolis. No, I didn't miss it. I got it. I got the Last Express. Onyx Freeholder. Okay. Sorry. I'll come back to these. Remember, if I don't play one of these guys, or if I don't play your particular one, you can always, you know, volunteer it again next month. All right, so here are the choices. Last Express, Faster Than Light, Cyrillium 2, Day of the Tentacle Remastered, Stardew Valley, Master of Orion 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up this thing, and we're going to reduce this to 3 games, okay? So I'm opening the poll now. So we're going to reduce this to 3 games. Yeah, I got what you're saying. I got you, Div.
Welcome to Lee Carvalho's Putting Challenge. I am Carvalho. Now choose a club. You have chosen a 3-wood. May I suggest a putter? 3-wood. Now enter the force of your swing. I suggest feathered touch.
You have entered power drive.
Now push 7, 8, 7 to swing. Ball is in. Parking lot. Would you like to play Again, you have selected no.
That's really funny. Oh, man. That's really funny. Oh, a lot of people are on Faster Than Light. I would be fine with any of these, except I don't know anything about Cyrillium 2. I trust Jay, but so you need to tell me, Jay, what it is. But other than that, any of the rest of these I'm fine with. I'm fine with any of the rest of these, because I know all of them. I basically know Day of the Tentacle. I know of Day of the Tentacle. I don't know a lot about it, but I know it was a pretty well-known adventure game. I played Master of Orion 2 back in the day. Stardew Valley is fine. You have selected no. This is the voting is fast and furious on this one, people. Faster Than Light. It looks like Faster Than Light and Stardew Valley are in the lead, with Master of Orion 2 behind them. Think Dragon Warrior Monsters. Well, I'm thinking of Dragon Warrior, but I'm confused about the monsters part, because there's monsters that you fight in Dragon Warrior, right? Already. What do you? I'm not entirely sure I know what you mean. Not totally sure. Yeah, Master of Orion 2, I played the first Master of Orion. I actually never played Master of Orion 2. I played the first one. Dragon Warrior Monsters is an action game. Oh. Yeah, no, I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you. I only know the original Dragon Warrior. But I don't know anything about that, Jay, I'm afraid. I don't want Stardew Valley to win. I feel like I was just doing Stardew Valley with No Man's Sky. I feel like that's basically Stardew Valley in space. It's Stardew Valley with guns. Right? It's basically No Man's Sky is Skyrim with aliens, right? Oh, it's like Dynasty Warriors. Oh. I did like Sunless Sea when I played it because I was playing it in Halloween and it was like a perfect, like, just freaking perfect atmospherically, but your party's actually the monsters rather than the party. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Jay. No Man's Skyrim. Yeah. I think I'm going to give this a last call because I think this is getting pretty definitive, guys. Faster Than Light, Stardew Valley, and Master of Orion 2. Whether you're streaming or not. Well, you know, I played in one Dragon Warrior back in the day when I was a kid. It's way too grindy now. I mean, like, way too grindy. I actually know a guy that I follow that does speedruns, and he occasionally does Dragon Warrior speedruns. And I gotta say, I'm like... yeah, I don't really... Dragon Warrior speedruns is... Yeah, I'd be fine with any of these. I feel like FTL has been around for like... it's at least 2 or 3 years old, isn't it? Isn't Faster Than Light pretty old now? It's been around for a while. Alright. I'm going to close the poll because I think that is pretty definitive. Okay. So, then what I would like to ask is... so we're going to... so no Last Express. So those are going to be the 3. So can I ask one of my mods, one of my amazing, awesome super mods, can I ask you guys to make a straw poll that has, you know, what game, you know, is ARV going to play this month? And the list would be Faster Than Light in first, Stardew Valley in second, and then Master of Orion 2 in third. And then I need someone to link that up to the next game command. So I need someone to do a straw poll, and then I need someone to link that to the next game command in chat. Can someone do that for me? Yeah, it's got all the worst issues with JRPGs, Mort, so if you don't like them, it's going to be like that on steroids, basically. What is this now? Turnpike staff reunite. Teddy bear and boy on a North Carolina vacation. Aww. Tweeted that the bear was missing. found the bear and Feeney tweeted a photo. Is this him? The authority is mailing the bear. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. Although I have to say, that bear doesn't look quite like the same bear. That bear has been through the wars, man. That bear's been through the wars. Yeah, and you're right, Ekeg. That's true. It came out the end of 2012, Fast and Light did? Okay. I have not read The Ranger's Apprentice. I think the author for that is Australian, I believe, but I don't know anything about the details of the books, to be honest. No, I didn't hear about that, West River. That sucks. I have read a little bit of I read the first book in the series, Mort. And there's a funny story about that, actually. When I was actually wrapping up my book Greyshade, which is coming out next month from Ed Greenwood, when I was wrapping that book up a few years ago, Brent's, it was my manuscript at the time, Brent's Night Angel trilogy, the first book had just come out. And I started reading it, and it was about, like, this assassin in a city and I'm like, and he had a mentor, and I'm like, oh god, because those are all elements that I have in Greyshade. And then I read the book, and it was very different from where I was going, because mine has a religious component to it, and there's other stuff. Religious is in the guy's a religious assassin who kills in the name of his god, and blah blah blah. Anyway, so I was like, whew, right, you know. So when I was interviewing Brent Weeks on Speculate some months later, I actually brought up the subject because he was talking about how he had been working on a book, and then he had read Brandon Sanderson's Warbreaker. And the magic system in Warbreaker was exactly like a magic system in a book that Brent had been working on. And he was like, oh, god damn it. So then I told him the story about, I was like, look, that's karma, man. And I told him the story about how he had written this thing that I thought was going to be like stealing from Greyshade, or was going to make it so Greyshade wouldn't work. And he cracked up. He thought that was funny. So yes, it was interesting. Thank you very, very much, you guys. So there is the straw poll. What is the game of the month? Faster Than Light, Stardew Valley, or Master of Orion 2? What have we got? Right now, Faster Than Light is out to a lead. It's got a 6 vote to 3 vote for Master of Orion 2 to 1 vote lead for Stardew Valley. Good night, Bounced Hydra. So we're going to clear those votes now, and I can stop our bot. So thank you very much for doing that, Dragon. And thank you, Thorg, for editing the command as well. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. So, awesome sauce, yeah. So there we go. 6-4 to 2. That'll be good. I think that'll be a good sort of decision. Now, the final vote on this is there's going to be a little bit less time than normal. Normally, I try to give you guys about 4 or 5 days, but this one is actually, the final vote on this will be taken Tuesday evening. So Tuesday evening is going to start over at GOG.com as usual for my Pen and Pixel show. I'm going to be doing the Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear playthrough, which I'm closing in on the end of that game. And then when that's done, I'm going to be coming over to my channel between 7:30 and 8 p.m., and I'll be playing some Dark Souls. And at the end of that, we will actually have the official vote. And we'll close down the vote, and whatever that is, I will actually end up playing that game only a couple of days later, actually, on Arvbox, using, you know, Faster Than Light, Stardew Valley, or Master of Orion 2, whatever ends up winning. Yeah, for sure. Yes, to a degree, that's true, to a degree. It's what you do with the ideas, basically, that is the major issue, so... All right, guys. So this actually worked out really well. What boss am I heading for? So I just beat... crap. I'm trying to remember what I did. Because I beat... I beat the, whatchamacallit, the guy with all the ice in the crystal caves, the Seath Scalus. I beat him, and I beat another boss. Oh, I beat the wolf, too. That's what it is. I beat the wolf. That was the last boss I beat, and I just found the grass armor, so it's wherever I'm supposed to go after that. It's wherever I'm supposed to go after I beat the grass armor. So it's, yeah, Nito, Bed of Chaos, the Four Kings. And I beat, yeah, so I beat him and I beat the wolf. I beat Sif. Nif, Sif, Bliff, Biff, Whiff. Yes, I beat Sif. Yeah, I did. And I have to say, I beat Sif on my own, too. I didn't get any assistance on that. I didn't get assistance with Seath, and I didn't get assistance with Sif, so I was inclined to be fairly pleased with myself about that. Yeah, it's a good call, Lies. I did actually update most of my software. I believe the only thing I haven't done is the newest, like, source Arvbot. I have not downloaded the newest one that Netawin sent me like a day or two ago, but that, I'm not likely to be using Arvbot on the road anyway this time around, but yeah. No, I have not read the Lightbringer series. I have not read that. I know Brent, that was Brent's latest, but I have not read that, yeah. I know, it's exactly, Kilobyte. I felt so sad when he was limping. I'm like, sorry. Yep, exactly, it's terrible. Alright, guys, so we've got that vote going on. That's great, and we accomplished everything we wanted to accomplish. This is a really good day, guys. We finished up Bloodfeud of Altheus, which is cool. Really enjoyed that. We set up for the next couple of weeks. We got new entrants into the patronage game, which is really awesome. We upped the, we're back up to 411. Super excited about that. Heading in the right direction again. If we can get back up to 425, it means we'll be able to give our vocalists a raise for next month again, which I really would like to get to that level and just stay there. I'd like to be able to not have to worry about paying them less. I'd like to keep paying them at the higher rate and keep trying to increase their pay as I can. And then if we can get to 450 by the end of the month, we're only 39 bucks away from that, then I will be doing my second Arvanaut Idol contest next month. So I'll do my second contest. We'll have like basically small short story stuff. Our first one we did back in either January or February. If we get to 450, we'll do another one of these. Prizes, fame, glory, and all that kind of cool stuff. So it'll be really, really awesome. It'll be a fun time. So yeah, so I'm really excited about that. That went really well. So I'm very pleased. I really had a good night tonight. It was awesome, lots of fun, and I'm glad that we did it. But I am going to now get on out of here, and we're going to see who we're going to raid. So the way that the raids work are pretty simple here. You're just going to type in the Arvanauts have landed, followed by... Oh, nice, Mort. Nice, dude. The Arvanauts have landed, followed by Twitch RPG. You can feel free to practice in my chat if you like. The key, though, is not to do this until you hear my audio outro, okay? So once you hear my audio outro, then you can let it fall like a mighty stream, but please do not do it until you hear that, because you want to make sure we wait and we do it all nice and organized, so to speak. Yeah, I stopped in and was lurking for a couple of minutes the other day in your channel, Kill, but I didn't have a chance to say anything because I was in the middle of doing like 6 other things. So, but yeah, you guys should definitely give Kilobyte a follow. Absolutely. Okay. And by the way, we're less than 50 followers away from 4,000. So we're closing in on a really cool milestone with that as well. So that will be good stuff. All right, what have we got here? Ah, I know who. I know exactly who it's going to be. Cool. Yeah, follow, don't suck. But I want to thank you guys. This was great. I had a really good time, and I hope that you guys had a really good time as well. as we successfully showed our heroism and did not let our shame overwhelm our honor, although it was pretty close sometimes. But we did great. You guys did a great job, and I'm looking forward to the next one of these. So this Tuesday is going to be GOG. Again at 4 p.m. Eastern, as we play ourselves some Baldur's Gate Siege of Dragonspear, and then about 7:30 or 8 p.m. I'll be on back here on my channel to play Dark Souls, and then at the end of that we'll be taking our final vote. So I'd really like to get through at least one boss, if not two, but probably just the one on Tuesday, so we can continue to move forward in that game. As soon as Dark Souls is finished, I'm moving on to all my DLCs, and that's probably going to take most of the rest of the year to get through all the DLCs, and then I want to play Arkham Knight, and then I want to play Deus Ex Human Revolution, and then we'll have all the spate of new games coming out after that, so I want to make sure we get through that as well. So I'm going to be back to you guys on Tuesday. Next couple of days, though, I'll be doing work and stuff like that, so everyone have a good time without me and behave yourselves and all that kind of good stuff. And again, make sure, if you haven't already done so, to follow the stream. Please make sure to follow the channel. Please check out my Steam group with ! Steam group. Please check out my YouTube channel with ! ArvTube, so you can subscribe to that and get all the sort of past broadcasts of the stream, including this one. Please check out as well the Patreon. That thing right over there, which has gone back up tonight. Super psyched about that. ! Again, there are lots of cool things you can get. Critiques of your writing, copies of my band's, one of my band's, one of their first 2 albums. You can get an epic poem written about you. You can get a full character background written about you. So lots of stuff for you, and of course lots of stuff for the channel. At 425 we give the Vocalists a raise, and at 450 of course we're able to get that new Arvanaut Idol going, Arvanaut Idol 2, so that will be awesome. Before we head over to the person that we're going to be rating for today, I want to thank everyone again for being here, because you guys were awesome. And I want to thank everybody for following along with me as we've done so. Please ask you to spread the word about the show and about the books that I do and all that kind of different stuff. Thanks to my awesome mods who are the best in the business. Thanks to Dragonspear. Epic work with dice rolling tonight there, sir. Thank you. Thank you to Kilobyte, of course, to Shattermage, and to Thorg. Thank you guys so much, as always, for being as good as you always are. Thanks to my awesome viewers. Thank you to Apples, to Axeman, to Commander Dunsel. Thank you to Determinologies. What's up, man? I haven't seen you for a while. Thanks to Divinorium, to Earth Machine, to ECAG, to Electrical Skateboard. Thank you to Garrett, to Glipglop, to Glob Monkey, to Gray, to Esterma, to Jay, to Jedi Knight, to Lord, to Marinda, to More Torment, to Mr. Mano, to Nonstop, PKD Fan, Radcount, Roix, Sly Tie, TNS Mephiston, Uncle Elias, Varney, West River Rat, and Wolfboy 1988M. You guys are the best. I love you all. Best viewers on Twitch, as I've said many, many times, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful couple of nights. Now, we are going to go here. Don't go here until you hear my audio outro. We are going to go here. We're going to go over to Murin, also better known as BB Wolf, who is one of my vocalists and does Mech Warrior casts and things like that, and Rocksmith as well. Right now, though, she's playing some Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So let's go over there and give her some love and say hi to her. She's going to be on in a couple of weeks, in fact, on doing the vocalist thing. So let's go over there and give her love and support and all that kind of good stuff. That's it for me. I'll catch you wonderful people on Tuesday. Until then, please make sure to follow the channel, follow all the things, Steam group, YouTube, and of course, please support the Patreon if you can. Thanks to the new patron supporters tonight. I appreciate it, and thanks to all of you for following and the rest of it. You guys are the best. Love you all. Have a good night.
Fresh and new, when it all seemed clear to you, when your aim was straight and true. Well, your mind untroubled by the questions in the dark, content to play your part, open pathways to your heart. Well, your life untainted by a host of broken dreams, when all your acts were queens, understood all that it means. Could you have understood the way your life was bound? Did you ever wonder how you got from there to now? Oh, yes, you're gonna fly away from here, where the sky slow things down. And if you feel things that you never felt before, things that shook you to your core, a shattered truth you can ignore. Oh, yes, you're gonna fly away from here when the sky grows more clear and your problems disappear. Drift away down below. Watch them go down to your friends where the trouble never ends. And there's always just one more day left to go. And when you've struggled and you keep on falling back, 'cause it's confidence you lack, you try and take a different tack. You can turn and face your demons, or you can give yourself a break. You can go a new direction, life is only what you make. When it comes to your own vision, when you got to see it through, you know you've got to make it do. You know it's all been up to you. 'Cause here I stand here waiting, trying to make a brand new start. 'Cause it's finally dawned upon me that you held on to my heart. Oh, yes, I'm gonna fly away from here when the sky grows more clear and my problems disappear. Drift away down below. Watch them go down to my friends where the trouble never ends. And there's always just one more day left to go. Oh, yes, we're gonna fly away from here where the sky grows more clear and our problems disappear. Drift away down below. Watch them go down to our friends where the trouble never